race we have in front of us, the feature race, the Coolmore Tea Rose Stakes. Guelph's still the favourite. She's just eased out to $2.30, $2.50 now for Arabian Gold, 9 into 8.50.
Earth keeps punching up in the centre to keep it out there. And then Arabian Gold, who's on the inside of Guelph, and two to vocalise last of all. 800 to go. And Shahad's a narrow leader from Romantic Moon, still working, and Bound for Earth in the centre. So they're clear from Arabian Gold, a length and a half away. Guelph's on the outside, and Vocalise still back last of the six. They're coming up to the 600 metres. It'd be about 5 lengths first to last. And Shahad 3/4 on Bound for Earth, is now probing through in the centre to go to second. Romantic Moon is third. Arabian Gold is hugging the fence. Shahad looks to be away from the rail, so there's room for Arabian Gold if he wants it. Then Guelph and Vocalise is last. Shahad led up the rise. Arabian Gold's about to come through, and it's inside. Bound for Earth and Romantic Moon. And Guelph's coming down the outside. Little Arabian Gold straight through along the inside and hit the lead. Bound for Earth, and now Guelph is coming hard down the centre. She's putting in the big strides. Guelph, another group race at Randwick for her. She's too good for them. Beat Arabian Gold, Bound for Earth. And then Shahad followed by Romantic Moon. And last in was Vocalise.
Great to see Guelph back, the dual Group 1 winner. As a 2-year-old, she's now taken out the Tea Rose Stakes at 3, and she looked fantastic. She has raced right up to that. She's gone past.
Well, I'm sure that she probably would have really needed that first up run. I'll bet she's taken a lot of benefit from it, that's for sure, and she was certainly a...
Earth, and then...
Well, Arabian Gold's pretty good, still in the Cox Plate. Contention Arabian Gold, but handled yesterday by a touch of class, and a big touch of class here in Guelph.
She was heavily backed there. Guelph was an easing favourite from odds on out to 245 or 250. I think she touched. You thought, okay, the way the race has panned out, Arabian Gold maybe had to pinch it, and Guelph will storm home late and maybe just run second. But that big engine of hers kicked in, and she has just powered to the line. She looks like a colt parading, and she has a couple of lengths on these fillies, I think.
Tea Rose Stakes, race 2 on the card, taken out by Guelph. Look, she was the class runner. She won 2 Group 1 races there at Randwick back in the autumn.
Oh, she was awesome here. She was fair first up, but this was an improvement that you'd like to see. This was a dominant performance. You got Bound for Earth, who beat her last time in the race. Arabian Gold, the big spruik up horse, with deservedly so, I might say, because she'd had some form on the board behind Stamina, and she'd trialled brilliantly against Toydini recently. Admittedly, she was first up and the opposition was having their second run back, but boy, oh boy, you watch this big, good-looking filly here. She's got the world at her feet. The Flight Stakes, the 1,000 Guineas. I see she's still got a nomination for the Cox Plate, but she is something special.
She sure is. I said before the race I couldn't believe how short Arabian Gold was, given that she'd never had any form against this class of horse, and Guelph had defeated horses of this calibre on a number of occasions. And I think Guelph absolutely loves that Randwick Straight. It just suits her down to a T, and the small fields that you get in these sort of races suit her as well. So she did have a few things go away, but I think she's the top filly, and deservedly so at the moment.
Yeah, well, still got
Guelph.
Cox Plate was never mentioned, was it?
No, it's
they don't win.
She's still got a nomination in.
They don't win the Cox Plate. I don't care how good they have.
They have.
One has back in 1976.
Don't worry. If she wins the 2 big fillies races,
Saberbill won it a few years ago.
Yeah, he was
3-year-old fillies. There is a slight difference between Saberbill and a 3-year-old filly. I'll explain it to you at another time.
I think it's the next.
Very open race, isn't it? Wonderful Group 1, this one, the George Main Stakes. Your selections here, Brett?
I've gone for... It's a big step. And it was good to see her run so well last start, running that good finish. In similar conditions, set weights and penalties, and she was... Good luck. Thanks. Chris Waller, he does a very strong hand.
From the family of splashing it. It's coming for the 3-year-old, Brent.
Yeah, Dissident is the TVN market mover. $5.50, your top fluctuation, now into $4.40.
The racing, and Dissident came out fairly, starting to pick up ground. Sincero was the best into stride. Dissident rolling through, and Veyron from the outside stall is coming across steadily, and he'll go to the lead. Then Streamer behind them, followed by Faulkner. Royal Descent at the halfway mark. A length and a half, Streamer, Dissident on the inside, and then a 1.5 to Sincero. Royal Descent was next, followed by Faulkner. Shootouts trying to get away from the inside. Sacred Falls is on the outside of it. And Cassidy starting to wind Hawkspur up, but he's still at the back of the field as they make the run into the straight now in the George Main. Leader is Veyron from Streamer. Dissident over on the fence from Sincero. Royal Descent is now coming towards the centre of the track, followed by Sacred Falls and Shootout. And Faulkner going up on the inside. The leader, Veyron, coming to the 250. Led from Streamer. Dissident's trying to get a run near the inside. Royal Descent's coming down the centre. It's still the Kiwi in front, Veyron. Led from Streamer. And on the outside, Royal Descent. Streamer's got a head in front. Streamer from Royal Descent and Streamer, the girls fight it out. Streamer beat Royal Descent. Veyron was third. And then we got in behind them Dissident, followed by Hawkspur. On the outside of Faulkner, Sacred Falls Shootout and Sincero finished last of all.
The Oaks and Flight Stakes winner, Streamer. She's back in the Group 1 winners list. Streamer for Blake Shin, and Guy Walter takes out the George Main Stakes in a thrill.
Blake Shin, and I think at this stage of his prep now, he's had a couple of runs, probably just a little bit too flat to come from that far back at that pace.
Fight it out.
Well, a big call by trainer Guy Walter to remove the blinkers from Streamer, and well, it had the desired result. Got to win. Whether that was the key, I'm not sure. Might ask Blake. Blake, was how big a little freshen?
I think that played a significant factor. I think there was two key factors, Bruce. I think not running in the Chelmsford and giving that 3-week break into the race yesterday was a big key, and taking the blink.
The back markers had no hope there. I think Hawkspur probably looking for a little bit further now. This might have been a little bit stronger weight for age race than he contested last start, so I wouldn't sack him on that run. Dissident was on the quick backup from the Golden Rose. He did have a tough run there. Maybe this crop of 3-year-olds probably not as strong as last year. I thought he had his chance. What else in the race?
Best career run did come on a very heavy track in the Doncaster. I thought Royal Descent was very good going forward on a Caulfield Cups campaign, Mark.
And I think Faulkner back to a handicap has certainly acquitted himself well there. His last couple of runs have been in step weights and weight for age, so once he gets back to a handicap, I think he'll be suited.
I must say, we're talking about Melbourne races. A lot of Melbourne races were pace-related. I think this may have been one as well, although she knuckled down when she was challenged, Streamer. Probably the blinkers off may have helped her a little bit, in fact. Royal Descent, I think she's on target for a race like the Caulfield Cup. I think Hawkspur, just now that he'd had a run over a mile, he lost his dash, but he was still very, very good.
And he got booked. You watch him come into the straight here. He goes up, and if we can just sit there, he just gets thrown off his stride there. It cost him probably a length.
And I thought Faulkner's run, as far as the Epsom's concerned, back to a handicap. He's had 2 runs in Sydney now. If you watch Faulkner, the grey in the middle there in the Lloyd Williams colours, you'll just see the last 4 strides. He was very, very good. And I think back to a handicap at the Randwick Mile, you'll see him finishing off like that as well. So outside the winner, I think Faulkner was a good Epsom trial, and the 2 Caulfield Cup horses are definitely Royal Descent and Hawkspur.
Quick, and a feature race coming up. Race number 6 on the program, the Bill Ritchie handicap over 1,400 metres. It is a Group 3. Money is there too for Boban. No surprise when you see him in the yard. $2.50. He came into $2.40, now just at around $2.40 tote. $3.40 the tote for number 3, Sizzling. The Bill.
And Taggers came out well. Ashakan broke out fast, and so too did Title and also Bello. And Beltone's down near the inside. It's Title pulling its way along the inside. He'll share the lead with Ashakan and Bello, and Taggers and Beltone. Boban rolling up along the fence, and then Malavio. He'll settle down about midfield to the side of Bello, and Boban's midfield on the rail. Then a length to Choice Pro, Beltone, followed further back by Aldafra, and Sizzling is back last of all. They went out pretty slow in the early section. Can he get home from the back of the field? Coming up towards the home turn, and it's Ashakan a length and a half in front, led from Tagus and Title, then Malavio, Bello trying to push out underneath it. Boban's trying to save ground between horses. Choice Pro and Sizzling is the widest runner. It's Ashakan the leader. Boban's got into the clear. He's about to sprint up on his inside, and then Bello, Choice Pro. Sizzling is struggling, and Boban sprinted fast and raced away. He's a length and a half in front of Ashakan and Choice Pro. Oh, he's putting a gap in them here, Boban. He'll win easing down. Boban goes down to win it. Now it's Beltone getting up on the inside. He'll probably get second from Choice Bro. And then Sizzling, followed by Ashakan Malavio. Further back, Well, he's in.
Number 9, Boban. Will he look great here? And he has, he's performed. He just drifted fractionally towards the...
It's Beltone getting up on the inside.
He's flying this horse, Boban. Now, Chris Waller's working some magic on him. I reckon in a former life he may have given a jockey a chance to win the Pineapple Award at Markdale. Of course, that's a highly contested award for the worst rider of the year from any of the Freedman trained runners. And he used to be a horse which could provide you with a bad ride. He wasn't the easiest ride, but Marky seems to have straightened out there with Chris.
Chris Waller's improved this horse out of sight. The only thing that Brent and I were talking about it before we came on air today, that he's had an inside smother at both these last 2 runs, where he's a horse who, if he gets left out in the open, he can pull and get his head up, but he's got smothered away. I don't know if that's flattering him a little bit, but he's still putting them a huge gap in them, Brent.
Well, that'll be interesting to see how he does handle a Group 3 field there yesterday. Was a pretty special performance and has...
Terrific race. A strong hand, obviously, for Guy Walter there with Toydini and Streamer, 2 of the top 3 in the market, and Boban right there as well. Faulkner, well, you touched on him going back to a handicap mark.
Area there of Randwick in front of the big new grandstand. We have the Hill Stakes, another feature race. 2 more races on the program here. Of course, the short's the final race, but the Group 2 Bacardi Hill Stakes is the next race number 7.
Certainly solid now. Big horse, this guy. I've never sort of thought he was much of a looker, but he really does look well now. And I think he's really turned the corner in this country. So I put him in my 3rd pick, 796, Caroline.
Yeah, very much agree with you on those thoughts here. And market mover here, Moriarty. Oh, even more money now as we speak, Brent.
He's been strongly supported, Moriarty.
Ready to go, off and racing. And Einstein and Moriarty bounced out well, and Bayrear was out of the stalls okay, and Glencaddam Gold began a little bit better today, and he's now firing through, and Glencaddam Gold will take up the running and lead from Bayrear. Darcy Be Good posted about 3 and 4 wide early as rolling forward. He'll go up to be about 3rd as they settle down. Pelican on the leader. Glencaddam Gold 3/4 in front. Darcy Be Good 2nd from Pelicano. Bayrear up on the outside, moving up to join Ed, and then Sneaker Peak and Einstein. Moriarty hasn't improved his position. He's still 3rd last at the moment from Mass Marvel, and Kingdom's is last of all. Glencaddam Gold led with about 550 to go. Darcy Be Good a neck away on the outside from Bayrear and Pelicano. Einstein in the centre, Sneaker Peak on the outside. Moriarty is poised behind them. He's about to come to the outside from Mass Marvel, and Kingdom's Glencaddam Gold sprinted up the rides, got a length and a half in front. Down the outside, Bayrear. Moriarty is starting to wind up in the centre. Mass Marvel's all over the shop. Glencaddam Gold's in front. Moriarty looming up on the outside. Mass Marvel's running to the outside fence. It's Moriarty taking the lead in the centre, and Moriarty will win it from Glencaddam Gold or Mass Marvel, who's finished up right on the outside fence. Then in behind them next over the line, Sneaker Peak, followed by Einstein Kingdom.
Moriarty very heavily backed. $3.40 into $2.80 takes out the Hill Stakes for 2013. The Group 2 Wait for Age race. He has sometimes horses run away from pain, but you know, as we were mentioning just off air there, he is a stallion, so he is an entire, and he could just be being naughty, or it's just this way of going.
Yeah, I think it's probably.
There's Moriarty just this way of going.
Yeah, I think it's probably.
There's Moriarty, and Chris rejoins Brent.
Yeah, it's just got Chris.
Mass Marvel.
For Waller left in the race, Glencaddam Gold perhaps back, and Mass Marvel, obviously, I catch her on the wrong leg there in obviously perfect guide to the Metrop mark, and Brent.
Yeah, well, he sprinted strongly at the end. I thought Glencaddam Gold would win this race going into it. He certainly ran an improved race when he was able to get to the lead and dictate like he normally does, but he just wasn't good enough. And, of course, well, everyone's seen Mass Marvel. He was very wayward up the straight. What's the plans for him, Brent?
Well, I think Adrian Dunn's got a bit of news concerning Mass Marvel. I think there's a query whether he'll stay in Sydney for the Metropolitan Handicap, but the winner, Moriarty, will definitely head to the Metropolitan Handicap in a fortnight. Chris Waller here.
Improved race, ridden aggressively yesterday. Moriarty, well, he's right on target for the Metrop. There's no doubt about that. He'll hit that race 4th up. And this Mass Marvel, an imported horse, you could arguably say that he should have won if he goes straight. I'm interested to see, you know, if Moran or him go on towards the Metrop. Lloyd didn't do it once before with
Let's
Moran.
just watch him here. Now, I think Jock gives him a little crack with a whip, and he was going to make ground. He was going to get himself right in. One hit with a whip, and he started to hang off. And then it just took, I think it was Nicholas Hall, a little bit of time to get the whip through to the other side. By that time, the horse had made up his mind. He was heading to the outside fence.
Yeah.
He's got ability. They ought to persevere with him because he has got ability, that horse, and I'm sure they knew that. but he probably should have won if he'd have gone straight. I'm not sure about the race. I just
drop with tab.com.au. Prince Sherry goes straight there without another run. Ecuador's the one. It runs next week. I'd be so.
And what a race we just saw there, Atlantic Children's. All right, here we have 290 favourite Sessions. It's here, Brent, the last.
It is, and punters aren't really getting stuck into the favourite Sessions. They've been happy to let it drift out to $3.30. Now just firming back to $3.20, but there'll be no market mover in the final event here, the shorts. A-list has been supported 9 back into 850. There's been a touch of support for decision time 8 into 750. Tiger T's 9 into 850. Spirit of Boom's been 14 into 11. Famous Seamus
Racing now, Hidden Warrior and Welcome Golden Tiger Tease with the best three out of the stalls. Tiger Tease has got his head in front early, led narrowly from Welcome Gold. Hidden Warrior decision time going up near the inside, and Haylist just off the speed in fourth. Sessions racing a bit closer today over on the inside, and then Micmac followed by Aeronautical, then Famous Seamus, Manamanui. Spirit of Boom is back second last, and Delago Bolt is at the tail of the field. Hidden Warrior racing a little bit away from the rail, led clearly from in second spot. Tiger Tease decision time going up on the rail, and then came further back in behind them. Haylist is posted very wide. Welcome Gold's just inside him, then Aeronautical. Sessions is going up on the rail. He's about to follow decision time through. So as they top the rise now, Hidden Warrior just in front of decision time, and then Tiger Tease. Aeronautical is sprinting fast down the outside, and Sessions is getting the rails run. Sessions over on the inside. Hidden Warrior, Aeronautical, and then Spirit of Boom rattling home. It's Sessions with Aeronautical and Spirit of Boom. They come down to the post very tight. Aeronautical out in the middle and Sessions on the rail. They've hit it locked together. Spirit of Boom's got third, and then came Hidden Warrior, followed by Famous Seamus decision by Tease, and Haylist after a tough run got tired and finished last of all.
Well, that is a very close photo. It looks as if that is Session. So let's see the bob of the head as they get to the line. It can be deceptive. Both of them getting their heads down. He was throwing his head about a little bit, Brian, through the race.
Yeah, Caroline, he was spotted about the 6.
One, but the judge and the punters wanted Sessions to win. Well, most of them did anyway. And they did back in winning form. Most honest horse there, Brent, Sessions.
He is, and I think the key to this horse was just getting cover in the early stages. Like Bo Band, he can over-race a touch, and Josh Parr, he had no hesitation to go back towards the inside. A couple of the jockeys wanted to get away from.
By Josh Parr, he had a high pressure ride here on Sessions. He rode him well. He's been a work in progress for a few years now. Sessions.
It's Josh Parr.
No, Josh is a terrific rider. Aeronautical was very good first up. Temple of Boom was very good first up. Haylist. What do we make of Haylist here? He travelled up. He's not letting down Haylist. He's a problem.
You know what? Excuse found, Ron. I'll jump in there. No, well, I'm only just saying what I've been told this morning. They have discussed retirement overnight, but they strongly feel that the tongue tie moved in the race. The tongue was in a different position when it returned, and they feel the horse choked down. So at this stage,
choked down with the tongue tie.
The horse will probably race on.
You know, I love Haylist, and I don't want to take anything away from the horse that won here. Sessions is a good horse, and Aeronautical ran well, and the old Spirit of Boom. There's Temple or Spirit, I forget, with geldings. Do you stop a year too early or a year too late? I think now's the time to stop, but that's just my opinion.
I agree.
Welcome back here for the 1,000 Guineas Period. Of course, we saw Guelph be the benchmark for a 3-year-old filling the country, heading that way earlier today in Sydney. Well, here are the Melbourne girls trying to get there, and Politeness is the favourite. Let's have a look at the market here. Good to see Phil Sly is battling illness on track here today to see his favourite filly here, in Politeness. 290 went up 250 at the 290, but 250 was way. Well done to Blake Shin, working hard.
They're racing in the prelude. And Vivi Veloci slow to move from the outside. Gregor's got away well with Lady Lakshmi, Miracle to Me. Mariana's up there. Montagu's coming over. Politeness settling about the middle of the bunch as they go through the first couple of 100 metres now. Montagu moved up outside of Lady Lakshmi. She's last of all. 700 to go, a moderate gallop only. Lady Lakshmi just in front of Neck Clear. Montagu is second. Marianne 2 lengths away, third outside Gregors. 2 Miracle to Me. Politeness on the outside. 1 Flame Tree of Thicker improving wider out. Then Kissa Rose over on the inside, followed by Judicial Rock and Vivi Veloci Sasavi 2 lengths away. Now they quicken coming around the turn, and it's Lady Lakshmi about a length in front. She's a one-tried at odds. Marianne comes after her. Gregor stays near the inside. Montagu is still there. Politeness getting right to the outside. Lady Lakshmi in front of Gregor's down on the inside. Montagu wider. And Marianne deeper, and Politeness is the one storming right down the outside, but it's Gregor's in front of Marianne with Politeness coming. It's Gregor's in front of Marianne and Politeness. Gregor's hanging on and got in. Gregor's beats Marianne by a neck. Politeness 3/4 third, and that trio of fillies got away on Montagu, Lady Lakshmi. Sasavi made some ground. Jessa Rose was Flame Tree of thicker.
Well, he bounces back here. Chad Schofield, he copped a spray earlier in the afternoon for a ride on Grand Esteem for David Hayes, and he stalked the speed. He's happy to stay nearer the inside.
Just the way you see there, he just sort of had plenty in hand, gave her
by Nick
group win for Chad Schofield. And that was the great positive out of the race. Chad bouncing back from
the horse. Gregor's into a threatening position there. Come to turn it, had the best turn of foot from those on the speed. Best horse in the race, Politeness, ran third and wasn't suited by the tempo. In my opinion, she is the only horse capable of beating Guelph come the 1,000 guineas.
It's a good bait to switch, and then comes out to the better part of the track. It was a clever ride. He got the job done. This was one of the runs of the day out wide here, I thought. Politeness, considering the circumstances. To get this close in a slowly run race, she was very, very good here.
Any of those horses finishing on out wide there in that race, that was a walk, trot and gallop race. They just crawled.
But the next race here, important from a Caulfield Cup perspective, of so many of these, this is the Durban Naturalism Stakes. And you can see it's a wide market there. Pakal favoured at 550. I'll tell you where they are in the Caulfield Cup order of entry, because the winner here gets themselves in. Folding Gear won the race last for the Melbourne Cup, and it won't do so today. You've got to get a 2,300 metre listed race and above win to get there. So
way they go. And he's jumped away evenly with the field. Mudra alongside of him a little slow. Folding Gear drifting straight out the back early. Durnford is one of the first to show from Tremec, and Quintessential is up there as well. And also Bit of Hell. They wanted him ridden cold, but he's on the steel and he's up part of the lead with Keep Cool on his outside. Seville is just off them as they settle into stride. Now Folding Gear back last, and they're just dawdling along here. And they're all looking at each other, wondering who'll take it up. And it's eventually Mr. O'Kieran who comes over, and he goes to the lead. Tremec is right behind him with Bit of Hell, Keep Cool. And there's another one, Kezimpur, working around the outside to get up into second placing side there with Mudra. And it's Mr. O'Kieran in front now. He'd be happy out there because they've just walked along. Kezimpur's a length away behind him, and Tremec is third. Tell It Show wider out. And there's Folding Gear Mellum getting going to try and get into the race. He's had to take off 800 metres from home, though. In behind them is Seville, Tuscan Fire. Pakal is trying to get a cut. He's about 5 wide. Then Quintessential. Bit of Hell has been pulling midfield. Tanby along the rail. Mudra Durnford are well back. Sahara Sun at the end of the field with Ubersenko. Coming towards the bend now. Mr. O'Kieran and Kezimpur, who's throwing out the first challenge around the turn. In behind them, Seville's going to cut the corner. Folding Gear trying to come on wider, and Pakal out deeper. Mr. O'Kieran and Kezimpur flatten in by 2 lengths, Seville. Then Keep Cool, Pakal running on down the outside, but it's Mr. O'Kieran and Kezimpur. 150 to go. Mr. O'Kieran responding, and Kezimpur. Pakal leaving it late, and then Bit of Hell. Mr. O'Kieran really responds, and that was a great ride. Bossy, you've pitched it. Beat Kezimpur by a length. Bit of Hell or Pakal for third. A break then to Quintessential, and making up late ground. Ibersenko has been a pretty good run under the circumstances of the race. Tamby, Seville, Quintessential. Terrible run race, but a great ride. Got the prize.
3 votes, G-Boss. Race is being running today at farcical tempos, given no horse or jockey wants to go near the inside here. Boss sums it up, goes to the front, and that was worse.
Like track work. The first 3 furlongs was like track work.
It was even slower than that. I mean, it was worse than a trial. Bossy's gone. It's only a listed race, Bossy.
Yeah, mate.
That's
this his 4th Melbourne Cup, is it?
Nonsense racing, but well done to him because he summed it up, and that's why he's one of the...
He sure did. 750 it started on track. That's exactly what it paid on Super Tab. Running.
There's a lot of Bossy, but Mr. O'Kieran into a chance for $2.5 million now for Kieran Maher. Just missed out last year, ran second in the race and didn't get a start in the Caulfield Cup. In there now with 52.5, but he just absolutely tore them. He went forward, they crawled. It was only 13 lengths slower than average. He looked about 23 lengths slower than average, but oh gee, that was Well, great for the winner. Embarrassing to watch for those doing some chasing.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, he just got away with murder, didn't he, in front? But
Look, that's interesting. And another race. Here we go again. We're sounding like a broken record. It was another trot and canter. It's an interesting horse, this Kessenpour, this imported horse. I'm keen to have another look at him. He could be a sleeper. And Pakal, considering the circumstances, you could probably say should have won. So another race where two imported horses, Kessenpour and Pakal, I thought held centre stage here.
I couldn't understand why they didn't put those imported horses who are used to racing that way up around the pace and making long, sustained runs. I couldn't understand why they didn't put them up on the pace there in a walk, trot and gallop race. And Mr. O'Keefe in there, he just absolutely dawdled in front there. He was always going to be hard to beat. Another race where first few round the corner were probably the only real live chances. Now, the most exciting part of this race comes up in about 50 metres time. Right about here, the bossy stands up and moons the rest of the jockeys.
Well, what was it all about? It couldn't have been exciting because it wasn't a Group 1. It was a Group 3. They must have been excited about pulling their pants down.
It was more to say I've completely outsmarted you.
Well, he did.
Yes. And he copped a bit of a fine too, didn't he, Andrew?
Yeah, he copped a $2,000 fine. He wanted to entertain the free admission crowd. They had more than 10,000 there yesterday, but he got the 2,000 because it's not the first time. Now, Richard, I think I know what you're going to say, but is it the right thing or the wrong thing from your point of view what Bossy did?
Oh, definitely the wrong thing to do, and I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it.
The massive crowd around the Manning out here at Caulfield for the running of the Group 1 Underwood Stakes. The members full. That's in terms of crowd. And the public area, 10, 12 deep there, and they come to see. Have they come to see the real bling? Or, hang on, this will look good on TV. The wonder not from down under. Boys wants to know. I come to see the real bling. Atlantic Jewel. She's the odds-on favourite for the Group 1 here. Plenty of punters holding those signs up, and they're about to flap the way of Atlantic Jewel. There's also a bit of betting on what fine G Boss will get from the previous, but if in previous times we've seen him, very good in the Memsy, obviously.
He's unbeaten second up. I think that's why a lot of people, it's 50 out to 750 on track.
There she is, Atlantic Jewel, pretty calm and collected in the mounting yard. She gave them a lesson in the Memsy. She just track gallop last week in the stocks, and Michael Rod just has got to
look. If it turns out to be a tactical race like the last one, well, it'll play into her hands because she'll just outsprint them comfortably if that happens.
A very good 11th of 13 in the Memsy win.
In a couple of minutes' time. Now, on track, I can tell you, long shot move for Mr. Moe. Ollie's well clear in the Jockey Challenge today, and he gets a chance to improve that. 31 into 21 for Mr. Moe. It's a done deal is 650 out to 750. And Atlantic Jewel on course has been 165 out to 170.
And Atlantic Jewel, one of the first to show out in the early stages, and she goes to the lead immediately. Up there with her is Dear Demi and close up Managar, and It's a Done Deal coming over to sit right on the speed as well as they settle fully. So Atlantic Jewel is the leader. Out past the 1400 by about a length to Dear Demi. It's a Done Deal moving up the outside. Ethiopia just in behind them on the inside with Managar and Happy Trail. Atlantic Jewel the leader and Rod setting his own tempo. 1,000 metres to go. It's a Done Deal. The second favourite is going to go with the Great Mare and he's only 3/4 of a length away. 2 in front of Dear Demi. Happy Trail's fourth. 2 lengths to Managar, Ethiopia. 1 Silent Achiever. There followed My Quest for Peace. Back behind those then Mr. Moet, Sea Moon about 9 lengths away from the leader. Wonderful Park and then Green Moon, Puissance Staloon. Foreteller last on the inside. 700 metres to go. Atlantic Jewel only a neck in front of It's a Done Deal. A length and a half at the 600. Then Dear Demi who's going through on the inside. Then Managar, Happy Trails, Ethiopia. Mr. Moet pulled to the outside as they neared the turn. Well back still as Sea Moon. Puissance Staloon is third last as they come around the turn. Atlantic Jewel with It's a Done Deal being scrubbed up on the outside and Dear Demi cutting the corner. Back behind them then is Managar in the straight. Atlantic Jewel. Rod's calling on her now. She leads narrowly from It's a Done Deal and Dear Demi down past the 200. And Atlantic Jewel, she's got a fight on her hands here. A neck in front of It's a Done Deal coming at her. She's fighting on. It's a Done Deal getting to Atlantic Jewel. They come to the line and It's a Done Deal nailed her. Beat her. Right on the wire. Second Atlantic Jewel. Close up either Dear Demi. Might have held on for third. Happy Trails has made ground with Managar. Then came Mr. Moet. And behind those to finish then Green Moon, High Quest for Peace, and further back Silent Achiever Ethiopia. Sea Moon, Foreteller, Volpark, Puissance Staloon towards the end of them with the Ademi.
The aura of invincibility has been taken from Atlantic Jewel by a brilliant technical ride by James McDonald on It's a Done Deal. Rod had no hesitation to go to the front, and McDonald said, have none of that. I'm going to go with you and make her work for her victory. All on us here, go to It's a Done Deal. He gets the margin. It's narrow, but it's a decisive victory. And sadly, for the many fans of racing here, they lose Atlantic Jewel's unbeaten stretch at 9. And It's a Done Deal, does it? And I think
we couldn't give her a big start, and brilliant ride from James, I thought. There was no pace in the race, went forward and took it to her. It was a great race.
It's great to watch, wasn't it? You've been in great
100. We thought he'd improved vast in the last 3 weeks, but we didn't think we could beat Atlantic Jewel at 1800.
Well, set yourself up for a great Cox Plate reclash with her, and probably see her all the run through now too with Caulfield Stakes into the Cox Plate.
Yeah, that's the way we're going anyway.
Didn't see any win it. What a great race it was to watch, and you must have gone there with a very positive plan on what you wanted to do.
I tell you, my heart was in my mouth probably about 800. Murray told me to get back and follow through, just don't be last. So the instructions went straight out the window as soon as I jumped. He's a different horse, this prep. He's like how he just posied up today. And when I was in striking distance of Atlantic Jewel, I thought, this is what everyone comes to see, a match race between two champions.
And neither of you lay down, did you? Obviously.
Oh, it was a dogfight. It's I could see her from the 400 just picking up the speed, and I thought, I know mine will sustain a real good run to the line. So I thought I'd put it to her probably 400 from home and make it a real test for her. And look, full credit to the two horses. They battled it out really well.
Great thing now.
Atlantic Jewel, they come to the line, and It's a Done Deal nailed her, beat her. No wire.
Tonight's career win, another Group 1 for It's a Done Deal. Murray Baker won the race 3 years ago, of course, with Lion Tame, and the Kiwis making it 3 in a row, split by Ocean Park, and Atlantic Jewel tasting defeat at start number 10 for the first time here. The story of the race was the time, about 20 lengths slower than average. So those favoured on speed, of course, and that's where the tactics got it so right. Shark, before we get to James, basically, as you watch the race, they've all finished where they were. About the 600 metre mark.
Yeah, absolutely. Just before the turn, if you look at where the first 5 across the line are, they're effectively in that position, aren't they? With the exception of Puissance Staloon, who makes really good ground late, wider on the course. And Green Moon also through the field. I thought he was really strong from the 400, but it was more about the action up front and watching Atlantic Jewel and It's a Done Deal just trade blows. I would be really keen to hear what James thinks, and tactics in a Cox Plate. There shouldn't be a horse that you're afraid of, really, is there?
Not really. I think a Cox Plate will really suit him, that tough, grueling, because he loves a fight, and the tougher the run race it is, he'll be the last man standing, and that's probably what a good Cox Plate winner is, and he'll be there right to the end.
What about Michael for the first time? Here's Michael.
She's been beaten by a very good horse, and It's a Done Deal. I think everyone's seen what he's capable of, and just a beautiful ride by James to sum it up and come and sit up outside me, and he could notice it was going to be a sprint home, and look, he had the stamina in the end. We had a lovely run in front of. I'm not going to make any excuse, tracks, anything like that. She tried very hard. Obviously, she's going to probably be better ridden as stalking the speed, which we'll get in the Cox Plate. You get a good tempo, and that's what we're looking forward to.
Really good. Obviously, bad draw. Reluctant to go forward, because everywhere I looked where I was going to go forward, I was just going to be posted, and unfortunately, he's not ready to do that yet. But he will be now. He gave me a great feel. I'd say he would have been at least half a second to a second quicker than everything last 600. I'd say at least. So he's flying. He's actually, don't worry.
Upbeat about Puissance Staloon. Don't worry. Upbeat about Puissance Staloon, and the times were right. 11.82 for Puissance Staloon. The winner ran 12.14 the last furlong, and Foreteller actually had the best or second best, 11.94. So. The tail of the tape was what we were discussing with sectional times.
Absolutely. I think looking forward as a form guide, particularly for the Cups, we'll learn a lot more about horses like Sea Moon when they get to Flemington for the Turnbull than we did.
Various market changes overnight. Somehow It's a Done Deal, straight favourite, but now it's levelled out this way. Atlantic Jewel retaining favouritism 320 from It's a Done Deal, Puissance Staloon and Fioronte. What was the movers here? Well, Mr. O'Kieran obviously gets itself in. Hawkspurs solid at the top. with the Waller pair there. Super Cool didn't run, so stays at 10. Beaten Up is obviously out of play. That can come out of the market. Fioronte 17 doesn't probably go there. Jetaway's playing catch up. We'll have some more with at this stage. Melbourne Cup. Well, the first of the influx of internationals arrive next weekend also. We'll have more on that. There's the Melbourne Cup market. And a lot will change in that, apart from the fact, I would think, if he stands up.
The $26 to $35 mark that have been overlooked at this stage.
More like a set of barrier trials to me, the way some of those races were run. But was it the day young James McDonald come of age by disobeying instructions? I think it may have been.
Good finish. It's a done deal. He's brought an end to Atlantic Jewel's unbeaten run, but certainly not a complete upset by any means. He has won 5 Group 1s after all. And his trainer, Murray Baker's joining.
Not really. To be honest, I didn't think we could beat her. I know Ron was in the race, and I said to James, you just can't afford to give a great mare like her, 4 or 5 lengths at the turn. And we talked about where he'd be in the run, probably wide and coming at it, but I think it was a great initiative ride. He used his head and put pressure on.
Murray, it must be exciting to know, though, if he finds another race like this, he can adapt to tempo because, all races are different. Some races you get fast races, which we know he can adapt to, and now he finds himself in a slow race, and he performs so well sitting outside the lead.
Yeah, no, you're right there, Ronnie. He, even when he ran in the MEMS, he ran very handy. In his 2 starts in Melbourne this time, he sort of jumped and run a bit, which is good.
Murray, he was able to very brilliant at those distances.
No, I'm convinced that he's a 2,000 metre 2-4 horse, but he does have a lot of speed. He's quite sharp.
Murray, you've had some really good horses. Where's It's a Done Deal set at the moment?
Oh, he probably sits right at the top. Yeah, he's done it here. He's won 5 Group 1s, which is, not easy to do here. You've got the best, and we're very happy with him.
Out of that race, Ronnie. There was a few good runs. Dear Demi, 70 to 1. Gee, she was getting to the line very nicely.
Oh, look, there was only 3 horses ridden to win there. First, second and third. The rest were having a day out at the back of the field. They're not making any moves.
Can I add to that? It was only the first 6 round the corner in that race, in some order, finished first 6 over the line. So that it was just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They passed each other a couple of times, but nothing made any ground. Forget about all those cup horses that ran behind there. They had a barrier trial yesterday. They were never ever in the race after about 100 metres.
There was a couple of good runs in the race, though. In saying that, I thought Silent Achiever's going well. It's as good as I've seen her going. And Puissance de Lune was very good, considering, he's probably run the best sectionals in that race, the way they went. So those 2 horses are ticking along nicely. Yep. Won the Melbourne Cup, maybe Silent Achiever for the Caulfield Cup.
One little step.
$13 goes to order. Miracles of Life, $2.25 out to $2.50. Thump, $5.50 into $5 with an interesting...
Billy's Gump on the inside. Longchamp Bell the outside by a length. Cosmic Endeavour a length away. I Love It's running 4th down on the inside there. Miracles of Life starting to creep into it a bit wider, followed by Rude Awakening. 2 lengths then, Tango's Daughter, Kiss Me Katut, Farewell, 2 to Metastasio. Coming around the turn, Thump and Longchamp Bell still at it. Coming around the outside, 4 wide is Miracles of Life with her run on the outside of Cosmic Endeavour. And then came Farewell, I Love It, can't get a crack at them. Thump the leader, she has a kick in the straight. Miracles of Life trying to dig in on the outside. Thump is sprinting well. Miracles of Life trying, but she can't get there. And Thump goes all the way by 2 lengths. Miracles of Life. Third, I Love It on the inside from Cosmic Causeway. Metastasio Longchamp Bell.
Yeah, what a performance. She was able to kick through and lead. She got a bit of a mid-race breather. Miracles of Life has run bravely, but fair comment.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. Look, she's still learning her trade and...
On the board, Vatican, 51st of our group races. The Group 2 City Jeep Stud Stakes for the 3-year-olds, won last year by the Star Piero, and Divine Calling is trained also by Gay Waterhouse.
Very heavily back, $3.20 in from $3.60. You could have shopped around and done pretty well earlier before the meeting odds went up.
There, 3-year-olds, the Stud Stakes, and they're away. On the outside of the field, Divine Calling looked to jump away pretty well. And also his stablemate got away very quickly too, Countryman, and he's going forward. Divine Calling drops in for a trail early. Seamus Awarded jump well, so too did Last Sight down on the inside. Here's the bowler from a wide barrier, but he's posted about 5 wide on the outside of Honeysteel's Gold. Late Charges right up there. Now Cluster's settling down at the end of the field. He's second last, and the real charge is on, and the bowler calling well off the speed from the outside stall tonight. And then Cluster, who's back second last and brings something at the end of the field. So the bowler led Seamus Award at the 600 metres by a length and a half. Similar margin then to Last Sight down on the inside. Honeysteel's Gold improving its place, and so too Last Charge wider out. San Diego edging away from the rail, but still no clear running. And there goes Divine Calling. He's starting to finish hard. It's the bowler being tackled by Seamus Award. Last Charge ran on, and Divine Calling starting to swoop on them on the outside. And Cluster is starting to get his back, and here he comes now. Seamus Award the leader, but Divine Calling, Cluster and Last Charge are the challengers. Divine Calling getting to Seamus Award. Seamus Award kicking, Divine Calling getting to him. Divine Calling, Seamus Award, bobber! A bobber! Really tight between them. Divine Calling the outside, maybe from Seamus Award, and Cluster will be third. Just behind those then was Bring Something, who's got home. Then Last Charge, Crime Fighter, San Diego, followed by Photo.
We've got a photo here for the City Jeep Stud Stakes. Seamus Award on the inside. Divine Calling dives, looks to be.
And
to
gets
the
up.
naked
Divine
eye.
Calling wins it in the last stride,
It'll
Rico.
get up.
Number 2 for Oliver wins it 2 first, 1 second, 8. Cluster was going to beat them all. Williams's horse is fourth. Going to have a chat to Craig. Need to see the head on again there. That was a titanic struggle. It turned the pendulum.
Really tight between them.
And went the way the much improved Divine Calling has found a brilliant form here in Melbourne, unbeaten here with Gay, and for Ollie riding so well for Gay. They did get the bob there and retained it on protest. Cluster thought on the home turn was going to put them away here. Richard, we'll get to that protest shortly, but you know much about Divine Calling, Cluster and Kay. What do you take out of this race? It was a truly run affair, and I thought Seamus Award was fantastic on speed.
Seamus Award was outstanding on speed, over race that little bit early in the race. Divine Calling went terrific. Cluster, he just needs a kick.
Right, because most of them are going around the Guineas Prelude, apart from Prince Araya, who's going straight in. I'm not sure what distance going to do, but that's the Guineas market. They're Divine Calling to get there, but
it's going to be dismissed.
Inside horses rolled out there.
Inside horse.
Slightly.
They're going pretty straight here. The inside horse initially comes out, puts the grey off balance, who reacts and rolls back in. That's on the winning post. That's nothing in it.
Yeah.
Look, I think if it was a 3 kilo apprentice on the inside, would have been rubbed out in 2 minutes.
Well, I think it was. You're entitled to lodge a protest, but I don't think there was any.
With the margin being what it is, his obligation after making contact or even racing on top of my horse would be to correct his horse. That clearly, to me, outweighs the margin that my horse was beaten. Outweighs the margin that my horse was beaten.
First one, I'm not sure where the rule says I'm not allowed to crowd his whip action. Are you aware of that one? I'm not sure of that one.
We're all governed under the ARB rules, Australian Racing Board rules. Well, the protest was upheld and went to Corey Brown's favour when the New South Wales steward deemed that if a jockey's into his has his normal style, he's entitled to be able to continue to use that to the end of the race. You can't go down the freeway and make contact with cars.
I don't mind if much cost my horse. He's not riding my horse. He doesn't know how much it cost me.
Yeah, I think we've been around long enough.
It's not relevant. You're not riding my horse. You have to get to a straight. But you're not riding my horse. You're riding your own.
Terry Bailey wrapped it up at that point. Craig, I suppose when you're riding in these...
That's all rubbish. That's like a pantomime. I know. The stewards aren't there to be bluffed. They're there. We pay them to read races, and they should be reading that. And
so you want them just to lodge a protest and say, there's the protest, these are our grounds, you've sorted it out.
If they can't read a race, they shouldn't be in the job they're in.
And something to beat in this race. Let's have a look at the market for the Group 1. The Moya Stakes, weight for age, 1,200 metres here at Moonee Valley, where Black Caviar had a great record. Buffering is the favourite. $4 into as low as $3.80, now back out to $4. Epaulette, 5 out to 6. Bell Sprinter, 6 to $6.50. Snitzerland, 6 to $6.50, back into $6. There's the key market moves. And Moment of Change has gone for a bath. Moment of Change, all the action.
As Snitzerland moves in, so 4 to $3.60 for Buffering. Back to $6 Epaulette, $6.50 Bell Sprinter and Schnitzel at Group 1 level for the first time. Set down to a dead 5. They're racing. Bell Sprinter missed it by 2 lengths. Captain Fancy Pants slow, buffering away brilliantly. He's going for the lead. Snitzerland immediately on his inside with Le Bon Sir, third on the inside rail. Followed then by moving up Moment of Change on the outside as Buffering goes to the lead. And then Conservatorium, 2 lengths, Sama Ready, Epaulette. A fair way back, about 7 lengths off them on the rails, and then General Truce, Bill Sprinter after missing the start, and Captain Fancy Pants 3 lengths away. So buffering the leader, Snitzerland keeping him honest, only a neck away, and now pours the pressure on coming near the school. Moment of Change just a length away on the outside, followed a length further back to Le Bon Sir. Conservatorium, Sama Ready out wider. 2 Bill Sprinter, Epaulette, they're both well back in the field with General Truce as they cornered. And then Captain Fancy Pants. So it's buffering in front. Snitzerland with him on the outside. Moment of Change. Here's Sama Ready coming on 4 wide. Then Le Bon Sir trying for an inside run. Buffering for home. Leading narrowly. Here's Sama Ready. She loops them on the outside. Sama Ready and race past Buffering with 100 to go. And Sama Ready is starting to sprint right away and she'll bolt it in. Sama Ready by 3, widening on Buffering. Third placing a photo, maybe Le Bon Sir. Geez, racing well. Moment of Change with him in that photo. Then Conservatorium, Bell Sprinter. Well, the start is becoming a massive issue. Epaulette never came into the race. He was Faulkner and Fancy Pants.
Well, Froggy said to me yesterday, we're going to sit back and we're going to ride for a little bit of luck, get a little bit of cover if we can. Wonderful performance. Craig really enjoying that. She is a top-class filly, there's no doubt about it. As a 2-year-old, she was up there with the very, very best of them. Very unlucky in a golden slipper. And tonight she's been able to make them pay. It was obvious coming to the bend.
Race. It's an amazing achievement.
Well, it's just we love it. We love the mare, you know, and Peter Orton's probably done a good job with her after she ran that fifth and hurt her hind quarter. You know, he wouldn't let her out.
It's extraordinary. She was an outstanding 2-year-old. She won a Group 1 as a 2-year-old. She had 12 months off to get her back to win another Group 1 as a 4-year-old. I mean, it just shows how good she is.
Yeah, look, she's made a little bit of improvement. You know, physically she's made an improvement into being a 4-year-old mare. You know, carries more muscle and a bit stronger, and just really wrapped that she can race in this company and race properly. You know, she ran away with it, and 1,200 syndication guys, and there's 20 people in the horse. They'll be celebrating. So great night, late but great night.
And you read that's the Group 1 on this mare that you love so much. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, very special, mate. She's been a very good filly / mare to me, and she was pretty arrogant tonight. She won with a lot in hand.
Well,
I think anyone thought they'd see something like that. Spectacular performance, and Greg got it so right in the call there. Looped the field and smashed them. Some already back from a long break and injury. Well done to Peter Orton, the Vinery team, who looked after her there, and Mick Price's team who got it right. The Blue Diamond winner back in devastating style. Buffering pulled up with a slight issue, but should be right to go to the Manikato. Le Bon Sir flopped into third to give Mick Price and his white reins there. First and third, Shark. That was something spectacular there, wasn't it?
Certainly was. We saw that first up win at Caulfield, and I think everyone that saw her in the Maniard pre-race and then after race thought there's probably some physical improvement here to come. The question was always going to be off a long break, second up to Group 1 level. We knew she had the sort of talent to win the race. That second up break off the long spell often brings horses unstuck. If anything, she's gone ahead and achieved a new career best there. For mine, that's the best we've ever seen from Sama Ready. And you wouldn't write off.
Keep him away from the valley now. No Manikato for it. Snitzerland found to have some mucus in a scope there, so some issues there.
Had to be wrong there. She was well below her best, and she certainly looked in a lot better shape.
2-year-old form, and she'd had an injury, and she did a good job winning first up. But to think that she could blow away a field like that, the way and the manner in which she did that surprise you?
It did the way she did it. Asked her to, but to do that to a quality field of that calibre, it was pretty surprising, but very rewarding.
Not so long. What about Buffering? Gosh, Is he going to win that Group 1 one day?
Well, let's hope so. He pulled up sore with a stone bruise out of that race. Look, I don't know what happened with the other well-fancied runners there. Epaulettes and Snitzerlands, they were pretty ordinary. Bell Sprinter was just okay. Moment of Change was just okay. It was a funny race because of the heavy rain for half or 3/4 of an hour prior to the race, and maybe some horses weren't as confident in the going because a couple of these horses shouldn't have run this bad.
And a couple surprised too. Le Bon Sir on the inside there. I know he's going in flying form, but if you'd have said, oh, well, in this type of race, he'll beat home the calibre of horses that he has, a month ago, you'd have said, oh, you're dreaming. But it was a funny race.
Just a wow factor with this win. It was just something special, that win.
Craig, we had you on a few weeks ago.
Parade ring for race 2 on the program. This is the Group 2 Stan Fox Stakes. Always been a very good race for the 3-year-olds. A big field, but it is full of quality. And we see the favourite for Gay Waterhouse, 70. Eurozone just out to 440 and then up to the top there.
He's in 40 cents and Eurozone 440 to 370 coming out of that Golden Rose as well.
Racing, and the favourite began fast in the centre. Aussies Love Sport. He went straight to the lead from Bodega Negra and Best Case. Eurozone jumped well, but is now easing back to look for a cover. And then came Criterion, who's sliding up on the inside to join it, and Despopper's last of all. And coming to the side, he's getting his own way in front here. Aussies Love Sport, gliding along at his own tempo, led by a length and a half Bodega Negra, and then Best Case followed by Eurozone, who's a half away on the outside. He's running fourth, and he does have a trail. Criterion's behind him, and last of all is Despop, with about 650 to go. And it's Aussies Love Sport, the leader. He's been a little bit easy on track in the betting, but he shows out clearly from Bodega Negra. Best Case niggered along on the inside, followed by Eurozone, and then Despop on the inside, and Criterion's about to come wide. Aussies Love Sport, well, he swung away from the inside, coming into the straight. He's about 4 or 5 wide, but he shot away. Eurozone's coming after him down the outside, and then Criterion. It's still Aussies Love Sport in front. Eurozone and Criterion are closing in, though. It's going to be a great finish to the Stan Fox, with Criterion and Eurozone moving up to shade Aussies Love Sport. Criterion and Eurozone. Eurozone's in front. He does best. And Eurozone beat Criterion. Aussies Love Sport finished third. And then Best Case followed by Despop, and last in Bodega Negra.
Number 3, Eurozone, the market mover, wins. Hugh Bowman for James and Bart Cummings. And that was the horse. What an effort for him at the end of his long first preparation. And he now wins the Stan Fox. The Group 2 at set weights. Eurozone wins. I thought Criterion...
This horse has really done well, as you said, on this first preparation. And Northern Meteor, what a great loss, sadly.
And Eurozone beat Criterion.
Well, bouncing back off a couple of so-so performances, perhaps, in the Run of the Rose and the Golden Rose, Eurozone takes the Stan Fox, beating Criterion and the easing favourite there, Aussie Love Sport, Pete. What it goes to the paddock, Eurozone, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah, goes straight to the paddock's done a great job. I think James Cummings thinks, like most people, that he's going to be a better horse come the autumn carnival. He's still got to flourish that little bit. $1.80 all week for Aussies Love Sport. No one to bag it.
Really done a great job with this horse. He's been up and his first preparation racing since mid-June. And, here he is, coming into October and winning a Group 2 race. It's good effort. No real excuses for Aussies Love Sport. He had the soft lead. The wind was blowing severely in these first 2 races, and maybe that was a little bit critical to the chances of the first 2 favourites that led. Criterion wants gelding. He loomed up and had to think about things here, and maybe that's his best chance in life as a gelding. But good, tough win by a nice horse in Eurozone. I'm disappointed about this race. It's a time-honoured race where we've had a lot of champions win at the Stan Fox Stakes, and now it's lost its way and needs to be revisited. Obviously we had the Stud Stakes on Friday night, and we got the Caulfield Guineas Prelude today, and this is stuck in the middle after the Golden Rose. It's become a nothing race. We're upgrading all these races. I'd hate to see this be the race that's going to lose its Group 2 status.
Oh, no, they don't downgrade any races.
Well,
they only add.
If that race keeps being race 2, worth $250,000 with 6 runners in it, it'll be downgraded quick enough.
Yeah, really? Welcome back here to Seal Gardens. Next race on the program is the Golden Pendant. It is a Group 3 for fillies and mares. It is all the older mares that are going around here this time, and of course it replaces the Research Stakes. The favourite here is Red Tracer, was $2.70 to $2.45, now at $2.60.
Tracer came out probably about a neck behind them and is starting to roll forward now. Arctic Flight and Driefontein began well. They lead from Cameo and Soapy Star and Bonetta. Red Tracer's about midfield, but she's out a little bit wide. Going up now by Cameo, the centre from Granddaughter Shiny Rose. Appearance back second last, and Express Power is at the rear of the field. So Driefontein is the leader, coming up in the vicinity of the 600, led by a half a length on Soapy Star. Bonetta's had a good run third on the rail from Arctic Flight, and then Red Tracer, who's still out a little bit deep, followed in behind them by Granddaughter going up on the rail. Cameo hard ridden in the centre from Shiny Rose, Appearance and Express Power. It's Driefontein zooming zooming away in the early part of the straight, led by 2.5 on Bonetta, who's out after it now. Coming down the outside, Red Tracer and Shani Rose is running on. Dreyfontaine in front, joined by Bonetta. But now Red Tracer drops with Shani Rose on the outside. These two will fight it out. Red Tracer and Shani Rose. Bonetta kicking back on the inside. Shani Rose has won it a nose. Shani Rose just edged out Red Tracer and Bonetta. And then came Appearance, followed by Cameo, Dreyfontaine. And then further back, Granddaughter, Arctic Flight.
Under best, number 8, Shani Rose. A blowout for the punters here at Rosehill Gardens. Number 8, Shani Rose, beats the favourite in the heavily backed number 2.
500 metre race in 3 weeks.
Nice to have a
Shining effort by Chris Lees and good ride, Brenton Abdallah. I know Nash is one of our best. I thought that was a poor ride. You've got to have plan B. I think Nash had plan A, which was to roll forward on Red Tracer, but when she missed the start a half length, I was surprised he then elected just to give her a little squeeze and go forward when there was nowhere to go.
From start times and beautiful Colts and Geldings here in the yard for the Gloaming Stakes. And equal favourites we have now, Drago 380 along with Savvy Nature. Let's see the runners.
5, Savvy Nature.
Complacent hopped out well from the inside. Beginning well, Order of the Sun and Fwerza went up on the outside to take it on just after the start. Complacent just behind them as they run up towards the first bend. Fast Dragon out wide, followed by Hydro and Shikra. And then came Hooked in the next group, followed by Diamond Rocket. Drago trying to slot in between horses there as they go around the first bend, followed by Dowdston Charlie. Savvy Nature crossing behind the field, the second last. The Sun led by a half on Fast Dragon. Fwerza third, followed by Hydro on the outside, who's picked up a little bit of ground. He's gone to fourth now, Complacent fifth. A length to Hook, followed by Drago. Then in behind them, Shikra. Diamond Rockers under the whip. Savvy Nature's following Drago every step of the way. And then Dowdston Charlie. And last is Fastnet Flyer. Coming into the straight. And Order of the Sun and Fast Dragon are being joined on the outside here by Fwerza. In fact, who got the rails run. And then further back down the outside, Hydro. Running on Drago. And Savvy Nature's putting in a quick burst down the outside. So Savvy Nature and Drago out wide. Complacent got right along the inside running now. It's Complacent on the inside and Savvy Nature out wide. Savvy Nature and Complacent. Complacent and Savvy Nature. Complacent's in front. Complacent's won it from Savvy Nature. Drago got third. And then in behind them next we had Hook, followed by Fwerza. Then
Number 11, Complacent, knocks out the big, heavily plunged horse, Savvy Nature. Right up along the inside, drew barrier 1. The leader rolled off, Order of the Sun. Kieran McAvoy took the inside run, and that was the difference. He wins. Savvy Nature.
As I said, English Derby winner by Montjeu. We've seen a lot of Montjeux succeeding in Derby.
From Savvy Nature.
Bouncing off a hook. When he about Complacent, emerging from left field, does this sort of look like a horse that could get to a Derby down here and really have a bit of an impact? What's the buzz from the Snowden camp?
Yeah, I've got no doubt about that. He's a cracking looking horse. He's a cracking horse, and he'll stay all day. And he's the one that's got plenty of petrol still left in the tank. He's only been lightly raced, so he's a player. You'll go to the Spring Champion Stakes, Shark, and I've got no doubt you'll see him down there in the Derby.
Spargo just went too early. He had to drag Savvy Nature into the race. So,
James McDonald used him beautifully, didn't he? He just tracked him through, tracked him out wide, had the last crack at him, thinking he would probably be the horse that would win the race from out there. But Kieran McAvoy, I mean, he's probably forced to go where he went. But I tell you what, if it doesn't go around the inside, if he goes via the Cape Complacent, he doesn't win. So it's a very good ride.
But I still think he is up.
And then we're out to $13. All right, we'll take a break, settle the board.
This is the Shannon Stakes, a Group 2 lead up to the Epsom, of course, run next week at Royal Randwick. $3.40 for Your Honour, $5.50 High Esteem, another Victorian visitor also in the market as well. Is
26, Rain Drum, 14 out to 20. Your Honour, yes, sir, $3.40 into $3.10. Proverb 31 to 26, Ashokan 8.50 to 9.50, hosting 7.57, and the bottom one out does.
And they're off and racing. Transporter missed it. Hoylonny missed it about a half a length as well. Asher Cannon, Rain Drum and High Esteem began quickly, and High Esteem went through on the centre to take up the lead. And will settle in front of Rain Drum. Asher Cannon, our Desert Warrior going forward, followed by Mon Warrior up on the outside. Your Honour's moving up, but he's racing a little bit fiercely in fourth spot, and he's out wide. Then Monton, Rain Drum on the fence from Centennial Park, hosting and Hoylonny. And then Single and Proverb and Transporter is last of all. at the 600, and Asher Can's the leader. He's coming back to them low. He only led by a length and a half on Higher Steam and Our Desert Warrior. Your Honour's been wide, followed by Monton. Raindrum back on the fence, directly behind him, Hoy Lonnie, and then Centennial Park and Hosting looking for a run in the centre. As they come to the 300, Asher Can led. Higher Steam's getting up on the rail. Our Desert Warrior. Centennial Park's running on. Your Honour ran into trouble there. Raindrum's getting a run near the inside. He's starting to run on, but Centennial Park has come up on the outside with Our Desert Warrior. Raindrum's getting a rails run. Raindrum and Centennial Park. Raindrum has won it. Beat Centennial Park, and third home was Our Desert Warrior, followed by Your Honour, Asher Can, and then in.
He was big odds. He was first up after 18 months, but he's got the job. Number 7, Raindrum. Great training performance, Gay Waterhouse. Peter Roble on board. The inside draw, Barrier 1, a big advantage. And all.
Bonus, she might have been just held up a little bit, but we'll put the interim dividends on for you. There they are. Raindrum, $20, $16.20.
Strong win yesterday. I don't want to pour cold water on the race, Mark, but there's nothing there I want to back in the Epsom.
No, I think that was probably one of the weakest Shannons we've seen in some time. Look, he had tried.
I've been on Toy Dini all the way through, and he's well found in the market now, but he's still going to be probably my top pick.
And Ron Faulkner wasn't in that field and won't line up. Sorry, I went through what was there. Faulkner dropped out this morning. Lloyd with him saying we'll run in the Turnbull. So that market
A lot to play out in all of these. What's going to happen here? Nothing until next week, I suppose. The favourite Hawkesbury and Royal Descent, and well, I think Chris will be pretty satisfied with the way they go. Later, there's Dandano at $19. That should normally be above the $21 one there, Green Meat. It's normally, but anyway, keep us alive there. And Puissance to learn.
Rock Galloper. And let's have a look at a market here and see what's happening with he and others. He's 11 to 14 is El Rocker. Long John's been supported 320, 330 into 310. Marwood 60.
Away. And Hillspire a bit slow to move. And a Claire Big Bang and El Rocker are the first two to bounce out of the stalls, and they lead Worth the Ransom quickly into third placing. Romantic Touches going up on the outside, closely followed by Longmar. About a length and a half further back came Marwood, and they're being followed then Fast and Rocking. And next on the outside is Long, the 800. And it's El Rocker the inside, and Romantic Touch the outside, leading by 2 lengths. In behind them, McClare Big Bang. Longmar getting a nice trail fourth. A length further back is Worth the Ransom. Fast and Rocking. And then came Marwood between horses. 2 lengths then Charlie Boy. Followed then on the outside is the favourite Long Johnny's about 9 lengths away from the leader and peeling out. And then Hill Spy, Winehold, Ilgatino, Duran. Around the turn and the Kiwi. Left him goodbye, El Rocker. He raced 3 lengths in front around the turn. Has he gone a bit early? He straightened up with a good lead on a Claire Big Bang. Back behind those horses is Hill Spy running on fairly well, and Long John's coming. A Claire Big Bang is after El Rocker. He's on tippy toes. El Rocker, he's 3/4. A Claire Big Bang levels up. Trapped him. Long John's launching late, but a Claire Big Bang's in front. And bang! A Claire Big Bang won at 3/4. El Rocker and third Long John. A gap behind those, then Wineholt ran on in company down on the inside with Charlie Boy, followed by Marwood, Ilgatino and Fast and Rock'em.
Big result here for Dominic Tenor and Phil Stokes. The Claire Big Bag, an expensive Savabeel gelding into the Caulfield Guineas now, was $17 off that. Had a good one, had a good speed to show in the tactical plan anyway. Almost paid off, but the Claire Big Bag best to chase down and best work late from the Guineas favourite and race favourite here in Long John. They've gapped the rest here. That might be the reference out.
That's it. And the winner got he takes
emerging there. What won the Group 1? Let's find out.
Good to see Brody Loy riding a winner at Warwick Farm for this.
Away. Temple of Boom jumped very fast down on the inside, and also Danny the Fox and Fontalina with Strawberry Boy are all up there early, and there's Budrigas coming over as they settle into stride ahead of Solzhenitsyn and Linton. But it's Strawberry Boy pushing up in the centre. He takes over the running from Danny the Fox, second Fontalina. Budrigas caught wide, pushes on. 2 lengths to Linton, 3 deep. Then Solzhenitsyn, followed by Temple of Boom, a length to Rebel Dane, and then Furlex going up in the centre. Followed by December Draw, one to Lucky Grey, Thy Speediness pushing through between horses. Third last Yosei, and they're followed then by getting up on the inside as Mutual Trust. And at the end of the field was Benaria. So Strawberry Boy led Budrigas down the side by a neck. 2 lengths to Fontalina. A neck away the outside, Danny the Fox, followed by Linton, 3 deep the trip. Solzhenitsyn in the middle, then Temple of Boom. Rebel Dane creeping up. Followed a length away by Furlax. Lucky Grey outside December Draw. Speediness well back and in traffic. Thy and Benaria taking off, and then Jose Mutual Trust. Strawberry Boy leads around the turn from Budregas, Danny the Fox and Linton the Grey. Fodolina a bit wider in behind those horses, and they're followed by Rebel Dane coming on. 200 to go now. They stretch across. Linton, Danny the Fox, Solzhenitsyn, Fodolina to the inside. Rebel Dane starting to join in. Fodolina, Solzhenitsyn and Rebel Dane. Fodolina the inside just in front of Solzhenitsyn. Fodolina and on the outside Rebel Dane. A photo between them. Solzhenitsyn, Rebel Dane, a close up. In the field, then on the inside there was Fondolina fighting back well. So Fondolina, Rebel Dane with Solzhenitsyn, they're the three. Jose Flashes Trust, Temple of Boom, vie towards the end in company with Benaria.
It's Rebel Dane. G-Boss gets it. Didn't go up in the eyes. He didn't know he won it. He's won it. G-Boss, a great faith in this horse. He had a good always believe we'll get to this level, and so did your rider, and you got there.
Yeah, it was a great relief. It's a long straight, this Caulfield, isn't it? He sort of hit the front pretty early, and they were coming from everywhere. But Bossy's had the belief that this horse is a Group 1 horse. We were hoping he was, and he walked out today and just said, just leave it to me.
Well, he's got his job one. That gives him 86 Group 1s in his career.
And a champion rider. He was up in the irons too as he came back for 6:32.60. The winner, Fontolina, 5:70.
I don't think you got a chance to soak it up out there.
Oh, that was hectic. That was, this horse did it tough. And to be quite honest, I ended up behind the perfect horse, Linton, because, he rolls into the race. So I couldn't believe my luck when he was so close. I expected him to be a lot further back in the pace, but I ended up behind him, and I knew that the way he's ridden it, he just creeps forward every furlong. So that gave me the chance to get in the race, but he still had to do it tough, 3 wide. He's a tough colt, this buck. He really dug deep, and I got on past right
at Caulfield. So Rebel Dane, of course, was the winner of the race, trained by Gary Portelli, and he finally landed that Group 1. They always said he was a Group 1 horse, Ron, and now he is.
Yeah, he is, and it was a lovely ride by Glenn Boss. He just had the bad barrier, but he just got him into the running line so beautifully here, and wouldn't have won without this ride. Got the job done. There was a couple of good runs in the race. Solzhenitsyn in the black with the white spots there, trying to get out, loses a bit of momentum and should have finished closer. I thought old Linton was sensational, the Stradbroke winner. He travelled 3-4 deep, no cover for the entire race and finished right on top of them here. Fondolina had every chance and battled hard, as we know he can. But all honest with the ride on the winner, I thought the performances of the race were Solzhenitsyn and Linton. They were terrific performances.
The Strat
one might get out of touch. Now they're moving in with Honorius coming up into the gates.
Slow from the inside. She didn't step out with the rest of the field. Kalini's dragged back to the tail, and Hippopus was ridden out of the stalls to take up the running and goes clear from Winning Glory, is out wide, and Cantonese is ridden off the speed, settling down in 3rd spot. Then Honorius, followed by Vaquera. Mars Marvel get there, preparing to come to the 650-metre mark, where Hippopus led from Winning Glory is striding up a little bit closer now. He's moved within about a half a length. Then Cantonese. Honorius is poised, followed by Vaquera. Mars Marvel, and Kalini's going to have to come from last. He's about to make his move on Mars Marvel, and Kalini's giving him about 2 lengths start. It's Hippopus from Winning Glory. Honorius and Mars Marvel are starting to make their move on the outside. Hippopus still led at the 300. But Honorius and Mars Marvel out in the middle are starting to challenge, and then Winning Glory. Kalini will run last. Honorius a half in front. He's doing better than Mars Marvel. Omen will have to go for the whip and get busy now. Honorius in front. Mars Marvel trying to chase him down. Honorius hangs on. Honorius beat Mars Marvel. Vaquera got 3rd. Then Hippopus followed by Winning Glory. And then came Cantonese, and Kalini was disappointing.
David, 350 on the tote, heavily backed along with Kalini, and the punters. One's just about to kick off in the flight stakes for the 3-year-old fillies. The short price favourite is Guelph at around the $1.30 mark. She's going to be very, very hard to beat here. Arabian Gold at $6, Bound to Earth at $13, and She's Bella at $31. Kicking off our mounting yard with number 1, Guelph. She's the horse to beat, this filly from the Peter Snowden stable.
She certainly is. She looks great. We know that she loves the distance. She was dynamic. Well, she was awesome in the T-Rose. Peter Snowden joins us, Pete, at 26 to 31, back into 20 and $51. Rightio, the favourite is number 1, Guelph, at a dominant favourite.
Arabian Gold came out fast, and she's got a head in front in the first 100 metres or so. She's Bella's moving up on the outside and Refer. They made a line of 3 in the early stages, but Berry wants to lead it now on She's Bella, and she'll come across and head the other pair off and lead from Arabian Gold. Refer on the inside. Guelph is just tucking in behind them in the early part, but out 3 wide at the moment. He's trying to look for a trail, but he's posted at the present, followed by Bound for Earth and Sensibility, about 4 lengths covering the field, and She's Bella is the leader. 3/4 on Arabian Gold. Guelph is still on the outside. No cover for it, followed by Refer. Bound for Earth is tucked away. It's second last, and last of all, Sensibility. Coming up to the 600 metres, there's been little change in the order, and still about 5 lengths covering the field. It's She's Bella on top, led from Arabian Gold. Guelph on the outside, a length away third, and then further back Refer, followed by Bound for Earth. She's trying to look for a run in the middle, coming across hills now, and Sensibility up the rise, and She's Bella, Arabian Gold, and Guelph is looming up, and Sensibility. So they almost made a line of 4. Guelph had the better sprint, though. She hit the front from Sensibility and Arabian Gold, and this magnificent filly Guelph is heading for 3 Group 1. Sensibility sticking on the outside, but Guelph's too good despite sitting wide, and she's got them covered. The dominant filly beats Sensibility, Bound for Earth, then Arabian Gold, She's Bella, and last in was Refer.
She did what punters expected her to do, but she did it tough. She sat 3 deep. They didn't go along real hard. That suited her when Kieran McAvoy pushed the button, and that's the best thing about this filly. She's pushed button, and Guelph races away. A 2-time Group 1 or a 2, and now a Group 1 winner here at Randwick at 3.
They weren't going quick, and even though she's 3 deep, the snail pace really, and it was a track gallop.
I said in the run-on.
Well, the punters who took the short odds didn't have too much to worry about there. Even though she was 3 deep, she was.
It was a great result for Daly there with Guelph. Got to think Peter Moody off a Mornington maiden win, sending this to Sydney. Sensibility to get Black Type running second to a tremendous performance for him, and part owned, of course, or owned by wife Sarah. But look, she's the best 3-year-old filly in the country, and she should make similar work of them when we get to Melbourne, Rich.
Yeah, look, I'm not 100% convinced, but she's clearly the top 3-year-old filly and a dominant filly, and the one to beat in the 1,000 guineas. There's no doubt about that. But look, Kieran was damned if you do, damned if you don't. If he goes back, they walked. I still think she picks them up, but he just elected just to sit out 3 deep. I thought Sensibility was terrific. Bound for
At the end of her tether now. Look, she still ran outstanding sectionals there, Guelph. The last 400 was the fastest of the day, so she's clearly the one to beat in the 1,000 guineas.
And it's one taken out by Guelph, and that was her 3rd Group 1. She won 2 as a 2-year-old in the autumn, of course. But Ron, she had a lot on those other fillies in the flight stakes yesterday.
Wow, she's such a glamour. She's something special, isn't she? She just relaxes. She looks a beautiful ride. She's a lovely, big, relaxed mare or filly. Karen just, rode her like a good thing. He knew they were going slow. He slowed up mid-race, and so he just sat 3 deep on her.
I can't give him points for that.
No. Look, I'm not. But
I'm not taking
saying
away either.
He had confidence in her ability to do that.
Well, he didn't have any choice. Where was he going to go?
Well, go back.
Oh, you could go back in a slowly run race. That's suicide as well. I suppose you got stuck out there. It's never fun to be out there. Karen didn't panic. He just sat there and said, okay, this is my lot. We'll see if she's good enough. And she was.
Mate, they're hacking there, Richard. They're going nowhere.
Cox plate with 47 kilos, because that's the question that's being thrown around today. I know what your answer is going to be, Richard. Your answer's a definite no.
It's just a joke. It's just ridiculous.
Why can't she run in the Cox plate?
She can.
Huh?
She can run in the Cox plate. I know you're only trying to goad me into this. People on Twitter have been trying to goad me into it.
We're just asking your opinion.
You know my opinion. You can run whatever the best 3-year-old filly is in Australia. You can run it in the Cox plate. Go nuts. Run them all you like. They don't win.
It has happened before, though.
1976 it happened.
What do you think, Ron?
We're not far out, though, from the Roman Consul for the 3-year-old colts and geldings over the 1,200 metres. Favourite is Zoostar, $2.10 into $1.90. The best back runner, the Golden Rose at his most recent start. He could have gone to Melbourne for the Caulfield Guineas, freshened up to aim towards the Coolmore Stud Stakes, and he looks in very good order.
He looked outstanding. He was pros, been $6.50 out to $8. Number 3.
Last call. And they're off. Well, he only jumped fairly, Zoo Star. He was back about third last early. Little Miss Smiley on the outside got the fly and went to the early lead. Va Pensiero and Open Book and not all that far away, followed by Mr. Jackman. And then came Barbed in the centre, followed further back by Flak Jacket. Zoo Star is second last. And Ivana is a clear last on settling down. Little Miss Smiley came across and takes up the running, trying to slow them down now. Led narrowly from Va Pensiero. Mr. Jackman on the outside, about a length away in third spot, followed by Open Booked and Barbed is in the centre. It's running fifth, and then Zoo Star, who's tracking that division. It's running sixth at the moment, 5 off the lead from Flak Jacket, and Nirvana is last of all. Swinging for home, a little over 400 to go. Little Miss Smiley led from Va Pensiero, and then Mr. Jackman, Open Book, followed by Barbed, who's held in a pocket. Zoo Star is cantering up on the outside. He hasn't moved, but he's coming into it strongly, and further back, Havana. Zoo Star's about to claim them. Cassidy had a look, then a look to the left, then a look to the right, and Zoo Star is racing away with it at the 100-metre mark. Zoo Star putting a gap in them here. Hands and Heels only wins it by 4 on Barbed and Open Book. Then Mr. Jackman, followed by Va Pensiero. Then Havana, Flak Jacket, and Little Miss Smiley was last in.
Hey, now. I watched the race with Chris Waller. We had a little smile. Both of us looked to each other when Jimmy Cassidy looked over, and Jimmy looked at the opposition and said, please. And away goes Zoo Star. He's not just a 3-year-old. He's a superstar, Zoo Star. He's the best 3-year-old sprinter in the country at the moment. He won the 34.53. 34.53, 4 1/4, a long neck. Brent, he was unbelievable.
That's 5 wins, a couple of Group 1s. And Chris, you mentioned you felt the pressure with him yesterday because of his value. Just expand on that a little bit more.
Well, he's obviously worth a lot of money, and it's important.
Said you could throw them all in the basket. He said this bloke could pick them up and eat them. I remember when he said to Chris and I one day, Chris, you go where you want to go. He'll win wherever. If you want to go to the Caulfield Guineas and the Cox Plate, he'll win both of them. Jimmy's got no doubt he'll run 10 furlongs, Chris.
Yeah, no, well, he's an exciting horse, and we don't know, as I said, we don't know much about him, and just keep it simple at the moment. If we need to step up to the mile in the autumn, we can.
Trist, the Roman Consul, it was taken out by Zoo Star, and a bit like Guelph, I suppose he was the class runner there.
He was, but he was 3 weeks between runs leading into this race after the Golden Rose, and he's got another grand final in mind in the Coolmore down the straight. So there was reservations on track from some people to think what sort of form is he going to turn up here in between the 2 grand finals. But talk about a turn of speed. We saw it a couple of times yesterday from special mates, actually, and this horse is the cream of the crop. Look at the way he gets his head down. Jimmy says go, and boy,
that is explosive, isn't it?
This horse has got studs jumping all over him. He's the son of Northern Meteor, who's recently deceased.
What would he be worth? They say somewhere around 10 million. Would that be right?
I don't know. No, it wouldn't be more.
You don't think?
Oh, if he wins the Coolmore, maybe. That's why I think all hands will be trying to get hold of him before the Coolmore, where he's going to run an even money favourite.
I'd say Barbed in the race.
Number 6, the Dulcify Quality. Rock Hero is the favourite at 3.30. Thunder Fantasy at 3.40. And then Equator's been well back, $9 into it.
Starter's got the button. Oh, Rock Hero bounded in the air at the start. He came out last of all, Rock Hero, and it's Liberty's Choice and Equator, the stablemates beginning best, and they lead from Star Wars, who's in behind them, and Pop. Rock Hero pinned up against the fence, Saintly Lad in the centre, followed by Villanova, Electric DJ, and last of all is Blatant. It's Liberty's Choice, just sneaky a little bit further ahead, coming into the straight, led from Equator, Thunder Fantasy on the outside, and then came the Special 2, followed by Star Wars, Saintly Lad. Rock Hero's held up for a run on the fence, he needs luck. It's Liberty's Choice, the leader. Equator's moving up on the outside. They've got away from Thunder Fantasy. Then Star Wars and the Special 2. Liberty's Choice beat off Equator. Rock Hero starting to get mobile up along the inside. Liberty's Choice in front. He's getting out late on Rock Hero. Liberty's Choice is sitting down. Rock Hero got up in the last stride. Rock Hero beat Liberty's Choice. And then came Equator third, followed by Saintly Lad, and then Thunder Fantasy. Big DJ.
Run. Don't look at second, third, fourth, fifth. You look at the winner. He blew the start. He got held up. He couldn't get out. And when he got out, he's got the money. Number 4, Rock Hero. He's a serious racehorse, and he's going to be a serious horse come the VRC Derby. What a performance. Number 4,
the Spring Champion Stakes. Savvy Nature has been one of the favourites right the way through betting, but Rock Hero's performance today after missing the kick and still managing to win will push him right up those markets there. Rock Hero.
As soon as the gates went up, he went up in the air because the start before he dominated from the front in a midweek race when he beat Liberty's Choice.
It's grinder so far, and for him to miss the start and do that yesterday, I've still got a question mark over the depth of that form, though, compared to the Gloaming Stakes.
Welcome back to Race Day Live here on TVN. The Epsom Handicap is only 13 minutes away. The favourite at this stage is Streamer and Toy Dini, equal picks from the Guy Walter stable. There's been a bit of specking for Sizzling, $17 into 15. Ecuador, who was backed early into $6.50, now getting back out to $7.50. But clear best here, Richie, is number 5 Streamer.
Yeah, Guy Walter's girl Streamer, number 5 Streamer, $6 into $4.60.
So they're about to get underway, and they're off and racing. A great dispatch. Sacred Falls drifting to the rear just after the start. Streamer came out fast. So did Ecuador up on the outside. And Ecuador put its head in front from Asher Cannon, Streamer and Spur Tonic, followed by Sincero and Veyron. Malavio's rolling forward, followed by Rekindled Interest and Sizzling. And in the next group there, we've got Belltone, followed by Toy Dini on the outside of it. Then Your Honour, followed by Sacred Falls. Bowban's drifted a long way back today. He's ended up third last, and he's out 3 wide, followed by Scream Machine and Riva de Lago. They hit the first corner, 1,000 to go, and Ecuador led by a length and a half. Asher Can Malavio, followed by Streamer. She's on the outside of Spur Tonic, 2 to Sincero, a half to Veyron, followed by Rekindled Interest and then Sizzling. Toy Dini's dead set midfield, about 8 lengths off the lead, 1 off the rail. Then Belltone, followed by Your Honour. Further back was Sacred Falls, then Riva de Lago. Boban got into trouble there. He got onto heels and lost ground. He's gone back to second last, and Scream Machine last of all. Ecuador the leader, led from Asher Cannon, Malavio, Spur Tonic. Streamer's nicely poised. She's in fifth spot as they come to the turn, followed by Veyron. Toy Dini's now moving up on the outside with Sincero, and Riva de Lago's the widest runner. Ecuador's the leader, led by 2 on Asher Can. Streamer is coming strongly with Toy Dini down the outside. Stablemates are running on, and Boban is right down the outskirts of the track. He's putting in a big finish. Streamer went to the lead from Toy Dini and Boban on the outside. Streamer and Boban, they hit the line together. Oh, they're wide apart, I'm not sure. It's Streamer or Boban from Toy Dini. Then in behind them, Spur Tonic, followed by Malavio, and then Sizzling and Ecuador, followed by Sacred Falls, and then Scream Machine, Riva de Lago, then Rekindled Interest, Your Honour, Belltone, Asher Can, Veyron, and last in was Sincero.
What a cracking finish. Boban, Streamer, Toy Dini will run third. Here comes Boban. He's come from last after finding trouble. This is very close. Streamer's in front. Streamer looks prominent. Boban's out wide. Wow, that angle favours the outside. Toy Dini will run third, maybe.
And gets it down the outside. Glyn Schofield and Chris Waller. A magnificent performance by this horse coming from a long way back. We're getting the photo here on your screen. You can see it there. Boban on the outside gets the margin just ahead of Streamer. Back on the...
Yeah, it was a tough couple of minutes, but worth the wait.
What about this horse? He's gone from a benchmark race. This is a Group 1 Epsom. He found trouble and he's come from last.
Yeah, he did. He had an awkward gate, and Huey, Glenn. Huey almost won. Glenn went back. He got a long way back and still got into a little bit of trouble, but he did get the horse to settle him. What we're starting to see is he's got an amazing finish, and he's starting to put it together as a racehorse. So, yeah, he's going to make it.
What's been the secret to 65? I still can't believe he's won.
Some great vision there of Glyn Schofield when he was looking back at the big screen and he realised that he had just got the cash on Boban in the Group 1, the Star Epsom. 670 and 230, it's paid on the totes.
Is that where you thought you'd be?
No, I just had earlier I had Your Honour all over the place in front of me and around me, and he was a thorn in my side of where I wanted to go. He got there first. When I went out, he pushed me out wide and had to come back another pair just to get in. But he travelled well, and then when they steadied up mid-race, he sort of got on the bridle. And I thought, oh no, Jimmy went around me and fired him up as well. But fortunately, I got into the back of Jimmy and he sucked me right into the race. Top of the hill, I just popped him out. And I must admit, I thought I was going to win by a length, but he was obviously a few pairs further back than I ideally wanted to be today. And he got there. I thought I was going to win. Then on the line, I wasn't really sure at all, but very happy to see the number go up.
But Glenn, his other wins have been on him. He's only had to really sprint for a furlong. Today, it was a real, had to come from a long way.
Well, as I said, he was a couple of pairs too far back than I wanted to be, and he had to sustain a long run. And
Yeah, it was a great win. He's just been a revelation, this preparation. I'll put it all down to confidence. He's developed into a different model. He went out.
There wasn't it with Baban, well done to Johnny O'Neill and Mark Pedgick and Brett Carty and all the boys involved with Baban getting up in a deceptive photo over streamer. Huey thought he'd won. Tordini, excellent. A better horse on the day, Rich. And I mean, all of us have to go to the winner given what happened in transit.
Most definitely. Nothing when he's right. But what Chris said earlier, Bruce, was the most impressive part. His two previous wins, he's really only at the dash for 100, 150 metres through a gap, and then Glenn's just sat up on him. He got awkward spot, then he got half checked 2 or 3 times and had to come around the entire field. I still can't believe he had to make that long sustained run. Mark and I were talking off air.
Him in Melbourne, of course, including the Emirates Stakes. Do we see him down here now?
Most definitely. All 3 of my runners in the Epsom yesterday, they were third up from a spell. So that should leave enough petrol in the tank to get to Melbourne, and Emirates would certainly.
Lancaster and Epsom in the same calendar year, Sacred Falls and Boban. And Glenn Schofield, the winning jockeys, joining us on Racing Red.
Early on in the race, I could have taken a more forward position, but I would have to give him a little dig to do that. And I thought if I do that, and he over races, my race is gone. So, but then when Jimmy whipped around me on Riva de Lago, it fired him up. And I got all over the heels of Your Honour, who was a thorn in my side throughout the whole race. But then it allowed me to get onto Jimmy's back, and he gave me a beautiful drag into the run from being a long way back to within striking distance on straightening was a big positive for me. So, then all he had to do was find another couple of lengths just to get on terms and maybe go past him. I did think that he was going to win by a lot further than he did. But hey, the number went up, so we were happy.
Still, that performance was amazing. The turn of speed this horse has got, and to still be doing things wrong, he still looks like work in progress for sure.
Without doubt, Ron.
Into the mounting yard here for race number 8 at Royal Randwick. It is the Premier Stakes. Weight for age race over the 1,200 metres, and the favourite is number 13, Arenosa.
Rarefied, 11, 12, 11, rock solid. Tiger Teeth, $14 out to $20. Famous Seamus, Spec, 17 into $14. Hidden Warrior, 8 out to 9. 420 into $350. She's Clean, 850 out to 11. And Dystopia, the bottom one, 18 out to Renoso. Here's your market mover. Been very heavily back, $4.20 to $3.40. Brent, they put up $8 on Wednesday afternoon. I thought they'll give it away free money. $8 in before we got here today to $4.60.
He jumped only fairly. Mick Mackey half bounded, and Tiger Tease came out very quickly and took the lead from Night Exemplar. Neeson away well on the outside. Hidden Warriors going up along the fence, and Haylist in the first half dozen, followed by Limes and Rarefied Decision Time, and then Manawanui. Pinwheel a fair way back in the early stages. Over on the inside, Dystopia, Famous Seamus, followed by Mick Mac. The heavily back favourite Arenos is back second last, and She Cleans behind it, so those mares at the back of the field. Haylist revved up on the outside now to hit the front, allowing him to run today, and ran clear from Hidden Warrior, Tiger Tease, Neeson on the outside, 3 wide. Then we had Rarefied, who's back in behind horses there with Limes as they make the turn from Night Exemplar, Decision Time. Further back, Dystopia, and getting to the outside now, Manawanui and Pinwheel, and Arenos is still about 6 or 7 off the lead. She's under the whip. It's the Tiger Tease moving up now to Hidden Warrior. Night Exemplar in the centre. Dystopia got a run in the middle. She's coming on strongly. It's Dystopia and Night Exemplar. Arenosa's now hitting her straps with Pinwheel on the outside, and Famous Seamus. Dystopia and Arenosa diving on the outside. Arenosa put in a big bounce. She might have got up. Arenosa might have got there in the last hop from Dystopia. They're all over the place there. Famous Seamus was close up. She's Clean on the inside, and Pinwheel followed for Tiger Tease, and then Manawanui, Limes, Rarefied, Micmac, Haylist has pulled up badly at the tail of the field here. Haylist and also Neeson.
It may have all been the last time we've seen Haylist, the Warrior. He's been pulled up, but the punter's a wrong song. They put up $8 on Wednesday. Here she comes, the Ghostly Grey. Bang! It gets Dystopia in the final bound. Chris Waller runs first, second, and he's in the photo for third on the inside with She's Clean. But the Grey, Arenosa.
15-9, the numbers.
9:37, 35-35, Brent.
The punters are on top. That was heavily
backed. What a horse she is. We'll get to the Haylist situation shortly, but almost 1, 2, 3 here for Chris. Won the Greys race last year. It's come a fair way since then, Chris. Arenosa, a remarkable performance.
Yeah, she certainly has, Bruce.
yeah, we're having a lot of fun with her, and she's just another confidence job. She just thinks she's better than the rest, and when she gets clear running, she certainly lets down. So no, she's racing very well, and hopefully head to Melbourne with her. Look,
She's going to defend her crown in the Greys race, is she?
might get a bit of weight.
Defend her crown in the Greys race, is she?
Might get a bit of weight this year.
To help you there, but the Haley situation was a fair story yesterday with John McNair officially advising stewards the horse wouldn't start under his care again. I think understand there's a meeting of owners today, but it would appear that the right thing to do will be to accept John's advice, surely.
Yeah, I think John may have thought that a start or two ago. John and his wife.
And it's sad to see a horse that really pushed Black Caviar, probably on the greatest horse we've ever seen, for him to be finishing 14 lengths behind the winner. I think it's very sad.
15 for age. Arenosa, Ron, she's got to be one of the most genuine mares around.
Oh, she's got to be not just a mare, she's one of the most improved horses in Australia. I think she's won 6 of her past 8. Like she was struggling to win at Hawkesbury 18 months ago. And just her will to win and her desire, her finishing speed, she is just an absolute ripper.
I've got to give Chris Waller a big tick here for placement. He has placed this mare absolutely beautifully. Never overfaced her. He could have stepped her up and run her in bigger races than this, but she's only just fallen over the line here to win. The placement has been precise.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. But still, the performance is there, and it's her time to have a crack at a Group 1 now. She's gone through the Group 2 stage on more than a few occasions now, and her turn has come.
Hugh, you went close.
From Royal Randwick here on TVN. It's the Group 1 Metropolitan Handicap, and the favourite is Prince Cherie from the David Van Dyke stable. Strongly supported, $3.60 into $3.10.
$7.50 has now come back into $5.50. Seville, $11 into $10. Julie Ennis has been $4.60 out to $6. Sneaker Peak, $31, and Planet Purple at $151. Number 7, Prince Cherie's your market mover, $3.60 into $3, heavily backed. Jay Ford looking to victory. Number 7, Prince Cherie, heavily backed.
And Sneaker Peak missed the start slightly. He's drifting back. Ibashenko is easing back with Planet Purple out wide. And the best out was Julie Ennis with Moraine coming across from out deep. And Seville's handy over on the inside, followed by I'm Imposing and settles down in 4th spot. Then Dana's Best, the favourite Prince Cherie over on the fence in about 6. By Lecripitus Ibashenko. And last of all, Planet Purple, 1,000 out. And Julie Ennis is taking up. All Lecripitus is broken down. Lecripitus is broken down badly at the back of the field as they go to the side now, 1,000 out, and the leader Julie Ennis from Murray and Seville, and then Sneaker Peak close up on the outside, 2 to 1 Imposing, followed by Prince Cherie, and then Dana's Best and Moriarty. Einstein was next from St. Encosta. Kingdoms is back 3rd last. Ibasenko still 2nd last, but now being wound up by the rider. He's hooked him out 3 and 4 deep to start a run, and Planet Purple last of all. 600 out, Julie Ennis is the leader. Led from in 2nd spot, Moraine. Sneaker Peak now sliding up 3 wide. Seville waits for a run back on the fence. I'm Imposing next. Prince Cherie's got off the fence, and he's run up behind a line of horses there, followed by Einstein and Dana's Best. Julie Ennis the leader. Seville's getting the inside run from Sneaker Peak. Einstein coming down the outside, and Prince Cherie had to change course. He's going back to the inside. Julie Ennis is just in front. Seville's trying to get on level terms on the inside. He's coming at him strongly. It's Seville moving through now to hit the lead, and Seville takes it out from Julie Ennis. Then Sneaker Peak 3rd from Einstein. Then Prince Cherie. In behind them next over the line, Moriarty from Moraine. I'm Imposing.
A maiden at Tipperary, I think, and we set him for this race, heading towards the major races in Melbourne, and Hugh Bowman gave him a picture of runners. We ran 2nd in it 2 years ago with Green Moon, of course, and Moraine's run the Caulfield Cup, so we do have a few runners in it. But look, it's I think if the powers to be that could organise it so it was penalty free going into the Melbourne Cup, I think it'd make it a much better race for everyone. And
in the country with a view to, I imagine, suggesting that he'd like to ride this horse come Melbourne Cup time.
Seville, the winner there, 10.20 and 3.70, beats Julie Ennis, who was game in defeat.
Then Sneaker Peak 3rd from Einstein.
Well, qualified off that for the Cup. If it gets a half kilo, which will be announced tomorrow, it would get to about number 28 on the order of entry and probably into the Melbourne Cup field for team wins. Important win for them there. Josh Parr suspended out of the race, and Ibachenko coming back for easy races in Melbourne. But He's been a work in progress. Seville this day last year, of course, Sharky ran second in the Turnbull to Green Moon, and he only won the one race going into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, he emerged as a genuine Caulfield Cup chance on this day last year, didn't he? An injury put an end to that. We've seen him back warming up nicely in 3 races. No luck in the naturalism at the start prior to this one, but the blinkers went on. They clearly switched him on. And this is a very good stayer indeed. His form in Europe when he gets out to this distance and beyond is very, very strong. So no doubt he's a legitimate Melbourne Cup player. Rich, I know you would have said...
That's why I asked the question, because we're watching Seville here, getting up on the inside of Julianus here. Which do you rate the better stay? Masked Marvel or Seville?
Look, I'm not going to judge that just now. I'd like to maybe see them both have another run, or at least sit on them again before I make that judgment, because I was just as impressed with Masked Marvel as I was with Seville, even though one ran second, one won. And
I don't know why they seem to roll evenly in the lead, but nothing seemed to make up any ground in the race. They settled, and that's where they stayed in their positions. And look, I quite like the winner. I think he's got upside. He looked good in the skin, and I think he's got yet to peak, and he could be a sleeper as far as the cup is concerned.
Anything for 12 meetings. Okay, this is the Bart Cummings. Important race here for Sea Moon, and the market has just discarded Sea Moon here. You wouldn't believe when it went up 240 in the first market, you look at that 440 for Sea Moon. Punters just not wanting a piece of him. Araldo best tried. Was number 30.
Motivato, there's no doubt there's some ability there, but there's some real issues as well.
Well, he was number 39 on the list for the Caulfield Cup.
Knight stood in the gates. He's missed it by about 7 lengths or so. And Sea Moon, rider grabs hold to try and get in and get some cover. Brigantine Supremacy, Tanby are up there early. Coming over Tremec, Keep Cool is there as well. And him a length and a half, Brigantine. Why not? Then got to take care. Areldo's been deep. He's improved to about the middle of the bunch now. Followed by Talent Show. Sea Moon is starting to come around the outside. Mudra's immediately inside him. And Polish Knights tacked on, and Crafty Cruiser last. They bunch right up now. Supremacy is headed by Keep Cool. Tremec's right there. Got to take care comes on, and Areldo wide out coming home well. And now Sea Moon, he's starting to let down on the outside. Sea Moon got to take care of the leader though. Down towards the 200. Areldo's after him, and Sea Moon joining in on the outside, and they're clear from Crafty Cruiser. Got to take care. Areldo and Sea Moon, these are the 3. Sea Moon moved up on the outside with Areldo and got to take care, rallying. 3 of them are coming down to the line. What a struggle. It's Sea Moon lifting, and Sea hits it with Areldo, and it's nearly a dead heat. Maybe Sea Moon got to take care. Inches away, the inside will be 3rd. Clear from Crafty Cruiser. Why not? Show Polish Knight, Mudra just battled away. Tanby weakened out, and towards the end, Tremec back there in company with Keep Cool, Supremacy, and Brigantine.
He's won. Number 1, Sea Moon. Number 1, Sea Moon. $5 back to 440 late now. Qualified for the Caulfield Cup. He was 58 and hadn't passed the clause. What a...
We just show there.
Sea hits it with a
Well, Lloyd Williams not sure what he's going to do with Sea Moon. Was qualified for the Caulfield Cup, now not after losing that race on protest. We'll get to that shortly. Lovely horse Araldo. He's a work in progress. Needs a bit of penalty. Needs a decent penalty. I dare to get that off that performance, mind you. You can measure up Sea Moon against it, but then you say got to take care. Ran 3rd. He's a star. Got to take care. You love him.
Oh, absolutely. 9 years old.
Protest here is the head on. Rich, we didn't speak about this yesterday with you. What did you make of this?
I only got a real good look at it this morning again, Bruce, when I was watching it in the studio here. I think they're most unlucky. I think look, my opinion doesn't count. I think the inside horse come out and just knocked him a little bit. I don't think the interference had any bearing on the result of the race. I think Sea Moon was going to win. I think the race has got no bearing on the Spring Carnival because these Sea Moon may well not have acclimatised to Australia to play with the big boys this spring. I think Nick said that in a very calm way yesterday after the race. I thought he talked the race down, which I think was right. But I think they were most unlucky to lose the protest.
There did look to be some contribution from the inside horse, didn't there? He did contact the horse in the middle.
Look, I didn't have a bet in the race.
Boost the horse needs. He did have 60 kilos. He was giving runner-up and 3rd horse 6 kilos there. So it's a positive move for Sea Moon, but I think reading between the lines, it's been clear, particularly when the horse was taken from the Turnbull and put into the Bart Cummings yesterday, that the stable might have that in the back of their minds, that he hasn't really settled in the way they would have hoped this spring. we can only wait to see what the next move is.
Well, Lloyd this morning has said that Mass Marvel's his number one seed.
Absolutely.
With Adrian Dunn, that's true about.
Well, I sort of picked it up as soon as they got close in the final stages. You've got to go back and have a look at the head on. And I knew that Sea Moon had drifted in from wide out on the track and ended up 3 horses off the fence. So there's no doubt that he'd made a move. Whether he'd cost Geraldo the race, well, that was going to be the question. That's Geraldo in the gold cap inside Sea Moon with the white blaze and the white cap. And got to take care on the inside in the yellow blinkers there. Now, they all get very close, and there's a bit of pinballing going on here, one bumping into the other. The inside horse comes out a little bit off the fence as well and adds to the mix there. I thought at the time I thought there would be a protest. I thought it was a 50-50, whatever mood the stewards were in at the time. They ended up moved.
It shouldn't come down to that. It shouldn't come down to what mood the stewards are in.
Or a flip of the coin. It's come down to a flip of the
coin. Yeah, you got to be comfortably satisfied that the other horse was going to win.
I think there was enough there to say that if they wanted to be comfortably satisfied, they could be, and if they didn't, they couldn't be. It was one of those decisions.
I think he'd be very surprised. I'm not going to name him.
He's got one of the key runners in this race. Politeness, $2.70. We'll get the new Davis coming through. Wordplay for Anthony Cummings, $5.50.
Now, Romantic Moon getting a good jump down on the inside. And also getting away quickly, Star Fashion in the early part. Metaphorical jumped okay, is hustling forward with Godiva Rock, and Lady Lakshmi is up there as well. Now, the favourite Politeness has settled down at about 5th placing as they settle fully now, and Godiva Rock has moved over and has taken up the running with Metaphorical second on the outside, and they're 2 lengths to Lady Lakshmi. Romantic Moon with Politeness just easing back to try and slot in. Might be still caught 3 wide there in 5th placing. I think it is. Star Fashion is on its Lady Lakshmi. Romantic Moon down on the inside, and then came Politeness. She's having a pretty hard run. Back behind them then is Star Fashion. Every faith against the fence when they cornered. They were being followed then, making up some ground as Sasavi over on the outside. Then Wordplay still a long way back, about second last when they cornered. Into the straight at the 500 metres. Godiva Rock in front of Metaphorical. Politeness has gone up on the outside. Despite the wide run, she's still there to issue a threat. Then Sasavi, Star Fashion trying to get off Politeness's heels. And Solicit is coming right over on the outside. You wouldn't know where to look here. There's about 8 across the track here. Sasavi has moved up with Star Fashion. Politeness was gone. It's Sasavi and Star Fashion down to the 500. Sasavi the outside and Star Fashion. This is a bobbing go. They hit it. I think Star Fashion from Sasavi. A photo though. Solicit 2 lengths away third. Either Phantom Gree or Wordplay will be 4, and Every Faith next to the inside. Politeness too hard to do that. Followed further back then by Godiva Rock, and also with those Metaphorical. Romantic Moon.
Waiting on the Prince to come up here. Looks as though the bob goes. No, this will be outside here. This will be C. Severe. Let's show you the print to the naked eye. It looked like Star Fashion. It's C. Severe on the outside here who gets it. A huge difference for punters here. C. Severe gets
in a race like this on such a big day. Well done to Matt.
He just kept it really balanced. Just kept chipping away, backhander. But it's same fashion.
Great result here, Shark, for Matt Laurie. Got a deceptive photo there over Star Fashion. Chad Schofield fired in the silly protest there. We got fined 400.
Yeah, you can't take anything away from either first or second, though, despite the little bit of interference early in the straights. It's fantastic for Matt Laurie. Career best result there for him. A terrific Group 2 win on a big day of racing. Star Fashion, though, she is a serious filly, and she's more than capable of
runs to analyse. We'll do that tomorrow on Racing Review. But more action to come. This is the Gill guy up the straight, and the features are
come back out to 440. There's been money for Spirit of Boom also from the shorts, 10 into 850, and for Aeronautical Lady got out to 650, which looked good, and now he's come back into 6. Smoke and Joey, probably the best roughie in the race, is 31 into 21.
Out, not quite ready yet. They're off now, and Sessions jumped away okay. Steps in time, seemed to get away all right. Galar might have got tightened up at the beginning. In the early stages, Spirit of Boom was showing some speed over near the outside, but it is Steps in Time who goes to the lead in the early part. Sessions immediately towards her inside, and Platelet tries to tuck in the lime colours, followed by Galar and Elbrick Black Cap far side. Just behind those is Smoke and Joey working into it okay, being followed further back then by Mr. Milton, who's over on the inside. The baldy face Go the Knuckle. Spirit of Boom working wider. Reflectance the deepest. Aeronautical and Griffin are together at the end of the field now. 4:50 to go. Steps in time has the lead from Sessions, Platelet. Reflectance wider out on the course. Spirit of Boom handy enough. Elbrecht getting up along the inside. And Galar follows these. Aeronautical look to be too far back with Smoke and Joey as they went to the 200. Steps in time. Spirit of Boom. Sessions on the far side with Elbrecht. Platelets burst through. Platelet went to the lead at the clock tower. She's about a neck in front. Spirit of Boom on her outside. Elbrecht and Sessions getting up on the rail. Platelet clinging on grimly. And Platelet won the Gilgan. Second, probably Spirit of Boom in a photo up there with Steps in Time who stayed on. Sessions and Elbrecht are really close up along the inside. Galar right on their heels, followed by Mr. Milton. And then came Go the Knuckle. Aeronautical didn't come on, followed further back by Reflectance. Griffin towards the end. And one of the last to go over the line was Smoke and Joey.
A great ride here by Michelle Payne to make sure that Platelet had the cover that she so needs in her races, and she got that off the back of Steps in Time. And what a good mare she is. She's already a dual Group 1 winner. And
those front through, and the most impressive part about the win was when Michelle said go, she really sprinted quickly. Passed some pretty good horses too. 8, 10 and 2, 10.
And away they go. And Zarella slow by about a length, and Lake Sententia goes back as well. And Catkins, one of the first to bounce out of the stalls. And also beginning okay on the outside. Red Fez rushing up and going to the lead. So Red Fez now from Maybe Discreet. Catkins settling third, and Perron's got over into fourth placing. From Epping was Girl Gone Rocking. And they were being followed by My Benz, who's about 8 or 9 lengths away from the leader from Kazan Luck, and a time for Julia. Fire up Fifi, Zarella and Lake Sententia. On the swing for home, about 500 metres to go. And Red Fez in front, Maybe Discreet, niggled along second. Catkins right behind them. Then came Flying Schnitzel in the white checkers, trying to get a run through. There's a very narrow gap there. Here's Perron coming down the outside. Balaclava Lady wider out. My Ben's deeper still. It's now Perron at the 250, racing to Catkins, who took a split and went to the lead. But Perron claims her now. Balaclava Lady starting to work home, and Fire Up Fifi from well back. Perron from Catkins with 100 to go, but there, fodder for Fire Up Fifi. Here she comes, jumping home, grabs the lead, and Fifi got up and won. Fire Up Fifi beat Perron and Catkins. Back behind those horses, Lake Sententia got home, and then came Girl Gone Rockin', My Ben's Kazan Luck. Back behind them to finish them was Flying Schnitzel, and she was followed further back. Zarella made ground out wide, but never a winning hope. And then High Bell and Balaclava Lady, a time for Julia, perfectly stunning. Red Fez weakens out to be one of the last to finish, and Maybe Discreet at the end with E Pingle.
well, Melissa, a big result for the stable and a big finish by Fifi.
Yeah, it certainly was. Yeah, concern was always a barrack.
Fifi, Robert Heathcote's got a nice team there in Brisbane at the moment. Fire Up Fifi, she had to overcome the wide gate to win that Blazer Stakes.
It was a beautiful ride.
Damien Brown.
Look, he was gentle on her early. He found cover. He presented her at the perfect time. Perron should have won. That's just not her style on the speed, especially 3 deep with no cover. She's just still a bit fresh, Perron, and I'm on her back still. Disappointed because she got beat, but far from disgraced.
I think she should have. Look, I think with decent luck she wins. I think there's any doubt about that. But you don't want to be, taken away from the winner. The winner's done a great job too, and the connections there will be rightfully pleased with the effort, delighted. But Perron had to sit 3 deep from the 1400 facing the breeze. That is just, they never win doing it.
It's not her racing pattern either.
No.
She likes to get back worse than midfield and come like this grey mare did. And look, she's underrated, the winner. Don't believe me. She's won 11 races. She's got a terrific winning strike rate, and she had excuses getting back too far in Sydney last time. So don't underestimate her ability as well.
And good to see Robert Heathcote land a winner there too. He's had a couple of placings lately, big placings with Buffering last week and Solzhenitsyn last week. So
credit to Robert.
The filly there. Okay, the favourite here and firming up again is Puissance Saloon ahead of Fioronte, but so many of these horses will be stars of the spring.
Into 440, back to 460, now into 420. It's favourite. Poisson Staloon runs favourite for this year's Turnbull and is our market mover.
Okay, let's get the scene set by Greg Miles. They move up for the...
And Poisson Staloon jumped brilliantly down towards the inside, and he's going to find the lead in the early stages. Up there too, Faulkner and also Royal Descent is pushing on. Jetaway's just off them. Coming over now, Glencaddam Gold. The pink cap of Sangster's pretty prominent. Mr. O'Kieran as well. As they settle down, Quintessential's on the move around the outside, but as they settle, Glencaddam Gold works his way and takes up the running by about a length and a half. Quintessential. Mr. O'Kieran, Poisson Staloon right behind them on the inside. Bit tight there as Sangster goes around the outside now, and Managar also. Followed in the end came Jetaway Super Cool, and then Happy Trails Two Silent Achiever. Fiorente is back second last, and Hawkesbury last of all as they head towards 1,000. Glencaddam Gold by a length. Quintessential running second, 2 lengths in front of Mr. O'Kieran, 3/4 to Sangster. Next, Managar the outside, Poisson Staloon back on the fence, about 4 or 5 from the leader, followed by Faulkner and Tuscan Fire, a length and a half further back, Dear Demi. Then came Royal Descent on the outside, was Jetaway, Happy Trails, Super Cool, Silent Achiever, 2 lengths to Fiorente, a long way back, and Hawkesbury is last. Glencaddam Gold took them down towards the turn at the 600, led by about a length. Quintessential there, 3 lengths in front of Mr. O'Kieran. Managar, Poisson Staloon over on the inside, followed by Sangster. Tuscan Fire putting in a deep run as they cornered. They're followed by Jetaway on his back as they've entered the straight. Super Cool, still a fair bit to do. Into the straight now. Bossy Angles up on the inside. Glencaddam Gold left the rail and Poisson Staloon burst through. Here's Faulkner down the middle of the track. He's coming home solidly and Jetaway's got to the outside. Poisson Staloon in front of Faulkner, then Jetaway, Mr. O'Kieran. Dear Demi's followed Poisson Staloon home at the 100-metre mark. Poisson Staloon in front. Happy Trails starting to burst through. Horse first line. Happy Trails is driven to the front. Happy Trails has got up and running from Poisson Staloon. Photos for third, Hawkesbury, Fiorente, and Faulkner battled away strongly. They're followed further back in the field by Silent Achiever, Jetaway, Super Cool, Mr. O'Kieran. Then came Royal Descent and Dear Demi. Quintessential weekend, as did Glencaddam Gold, Tuscan Fire. Managar towards the end. Sangster is last and upset.
And what a win. Happy Trails into the Cox Plate now off that. A raft of good runs here, but let's give full credit to Paul Bashar and Dwayne Dunn. This is a most underrated horse. He's the $11,000 horse and the ever happy Paul Bashara loves that horse. Why wouldn't you? He's won him over $1 million. Well done to him. And you love it. You love this horse, don't you?
He's a magnificent horse. He's like my brother or son. You know, he's just I couldn't believe the price he went out at. He's been always underrated. He's never run a bad race, and today he's just showed you.
He's been in the Cox Plate before.
More than he owes us.
See you in a couple of weeks at Mooney Valley, Paul. Well done.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. I've got to get the horse.
Just watching that side on ground level replay, so fast did Faulkner go there when Nick let him go. He actually got to the front. You couldn't pick that up when you were watching the race live, but he actually sprinted that fast. He got to the front, and he just sort of his run peaked with about 50 metres to go. 22.94 for the 2000. 22.94. Now, Poisson Staloon was crunched there late. 460 into 390. He started favourite. Fiorente started second favourite. 550 into 480. Now,
you've come out on top. You must be pleased you've booked your seat.
Yeah, that's right. Obviously, there was a bit of hustle bustle early, and there's horses that probably went a little bit further forward than what we expected. We come out sort of negative today, and just we found that we put him a little bit too close, and he just plugged to the line the other day, and as you've seen today, a little bit more kinder in the first half makes him finish a lot better. So there was, as I say, down there by the mile, it was starting to get a bit tough up in front. And a few of the boys were pushing and shoving. So it was great to be out the back and just minding our own business.
That's one on it yesterday. Paul, how are you feeling? And truthful answer.
Oh, I can't swear on TV, but not real good. We'll survive. We'll survive.
Did you win a race yesterday, did you?
Yeah, won a race yesterday.
To make the job you do with him as a horseman, he's been up for 3 seasons at the highest level. Each carnival he's at, be it Sydney or Melbourne, it's no easy task to keep a horse happy and at the peak of their form for that period of time.
No, yesterday, well, I was working it out the other night, and yesterday was his 11th Group 1 that he entered in.
Mm.
And he's always raced in like Group 1s, Group 2s, Group 3s. He's at the highest level all the time.
What do you think it is?
The big name player, if he was David Hayes or Waterhouse or... He'd have went into that race yesterday at 6-7 to 1 because he ran 4th in the Underwood and it was the best run in the race.
Probably, even though you're a small trainer, has the success you've had with him on the track and public, has it helped your business at all? Have you, has people come to you with all?
Oh, no. No one comes to you. Ask Lauren.
He's driven it. Poisson Stallone.
Oh, great win. 37 starts he's had. I reckon he's had 28 jockeys. Just having a look here. First jockey was Amy Herman. First jockey to win was Claudia Lyons, claiming 2. What's that about Claudia?
I think she went to work.
Career on either.
No, she rode a lot of winners for me, and she rode him in a 2-year-old. His second start he ever had. He missed the start by about 4 lengths and won by 2.
We'll get to the beaten lot here, but Dunn produced a terrific ride because you wanted to get this horse back settling up to produce a finish that he's got.
Well, that's the style he is. Every time they've had him up on the pace, he's just no good. He's not a non-pace horse. He likes to get off the pace, relax, and run into the race, and that's the way he does it. And the Emirates the same.
A lot of people thought.
So, listen closely. There's a lot to learn from what happened here. We've got Bossy complaining about the track all the way through to Froggy New to Road Royal Descent. Stay tuned to this.
Every possible hope. He got a beautiful run in transit. Actually, well, we never really went around a horse. So when I got the 200 and the exploded through, I just thought it was all over. He was going to just run through the line and beat them easily. My big concern, I said to Weir before the race, this track's got to a 3 and it's firm, and he's hating these hard tracks now. And you could see him in the last 100 metres. He was hurting. He was really hurting, wanting to get off one leg, get into the line. So we just got to hope and pray that, when we get to Valley, which is going to be a different surface, that he's going to really give it to me, because he's got it there to give, but he's not delivering on these firm tracks. So I've still got confidence in the horse. He's gonna go well, but we just need a few things going away.
Fantastic, Bruce. There's no doubt that he ran the trip there, which was only probably the only query above him, and he was strong through the line. I was really happy with him.
Look, he didn't jump great, and I got smashed at the start, and just took a long time to get him wound up and into the race. And everyone's seen his last 300. It was phenomenal, but fortunately the race was over. Then he's right on track.
Very good run. I would say Jimmy Cassidy's got a big smile on his face. And obviously I'd love to be in his position right now, in my opinion. He's
done really good, sucked into the race really good, probably levelled out the last 100 metres, but just probably shows he's looking for the 2400. She draws the gate, she can land in the first half.
It's quite good considering he hasn't had a lead-up run, so pushing forward, and we'll have a look at the protest too.
Yeah, her run was good. There were better runs in the race than she was, but very similar run style.
We just blew the start, Bruce. It was very costly for us. It's not like him. He's normally the first one out, and I just think maybe he tried to begin too fast and he went down behind. So obviously behind the 8 ball, but as it transpired, I didn't get a too bad a run through the field. I was with the winner, but got stopped on my head at about the furlong. Just ran into a bit of traffic. It was a good run. I think, punters.
For us, Bruce, drew a nice gate on paper, and just had to sort of hold my ground a little bit early, but going past the 1400 metre corner, just lost all contact with him, just got stood on ahead, and from then on I was sort of playing catch up, and she really started to build momentum down the straight and just got stopped dead in the tracks again at the furlong. So total forgive run for her.
Trained by Paul Bashara, who's joining us. He's at Caulfield this morning with Andrew Bensley in the Turnbull for a few years. You were 25 to 1. Did you think you could win?
Yeah, well, we got 35 to 1, so we had a good serve. This morning's good as gold.
You're going to meet a similar group again in the Cox Plate, so you certainly wouldn't be shying away from that race again.
No, he's like he got knocked around too much in last year's Cox Plate, and he was up on the pace, and it's not his style. But
there's the market on screen. You're into $18. They've finally reacted to a win of Happy Trails or a performance. He's a bit underrated, isn't he?
He's very much underrated. Last year I won the Dardo and I beat Green Moon, and it went on to win the Melbourne Cup. This year I've won the Turnbull, and that beat Poissons, and it more than likely will go on and win the Melbourne Cup.
What about after the Cox Plate, Paul? Do you go to a race like the McKinnon, or do you freshen up for the Emirates? What do you do after the Cox Plate?
Well, I hope I got that bigger hangover on doing nothing.
That run of Fiorente was a real eye-catcher.
I think it was more of a eye-catching Melbourne Cup trial than maybe you still got a chance in a Cox Plate, but I mean, it was a real real good Melbourne Cup trial to my eye. There were so many runs in the race. I thought Hawkspur was great. He had to be ridden back from that wide barrier and ride for luck, and he got held up in the straight, obviously. I thought his stablemate, Royal Descent, who wasn't obvious, but she got buffeted from pillar to post, and it was a total forgive run from Royal Descent. There were other good runs in the race as well. Jetaway, who's had these setbacks, I thought he had no hope. He won a bold race there, and look, Silent Achievers flying. You can make a case for some other excellent performances in that race.
It's the most important Melbourne Cup trial so far. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. That's for Melbourne Cup horses. That's an important race. Cuisance de Lune, the concerning thing for me was after the race that both Darren Weir and Glenn Boss confirmed that the horse is probably looking for softer ground, and that the injury that he had an operation on in the off season is a factor that has to be considered. And I think that's knocked a few people off him for the Melbourne Cup. It's very hard to get a horse to a Melbourne Cup, the amount of track work they've got to do and racing. It's very tough.
What about when he goes to Moonee Valley? Moonee Valley to Strathayr might suit him a bit better.
They've gone very much towards, we're looking forward to Moonee Valley because of that soft surface.
But still, there's a fine line between setting a horse for a Melbourne Cup and a Cox Plate.
Well, I think there's been a shift.
But